Test, 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 test. Welcome. How's it going, everyone? Let's reorganize this so I can actually see what you're saying in the chat. How's everyone going? First resin drive complete. I did it cheap to win the quote, and I told him I've not done one before, but I'm keen to do it, so I'll do it like proper cheap for you. And he was like, all right then. And I'm glad I did it, because now I know what to expect for next time. I know how to price it now. I've got it here, look. Gonna watch a little clippy of it that I've just put together. Well, go on, Carl. Carry on, welcome. Matt, Holmes, Wash Fix. First on the live. No, you weren't. You weren't. Wash Fix was first. Maybe next week. I need to give a badge out every time the first person comes in. That's something I'd like to do, actually. Make some subscriber badges. Members badges, because at the moment they're just the standard ones in the chat. I think it'd be nice to make some special ones, or get someone to make some special ones. Oh, that might be a job for Shane in the Discord. He does graphic design and stuff. Glenn, welcome, mate. How you doing? LC Exterior, welcome. Are we going to, is this pattern of beautiful weather going to continue, or is it going to go downhill this week? I'm pretty sure that's it now. That's weather. Not that most of my jobs, oh yeah, it's just going to rain all week. Nice. Apart from Friday, which is the one that I need it not to rain on, because I'm cleaning some solar panels on Friday, so. That repointing video couldn't have came at a better time. Got my first repointing this week. Nice. Holmes, nice. How big is the area? And are you, do you feel prepared for it? Just do your best over-the-top shocked face, like you see on the bigger YouTubers' thumbnails, and use that as the badge. It's like I think I've got one. I've actually got one of those somewhere. Oh no, that's the wrong one. You mean like this? No, there's one, I've got one somewhere that I did use as a thumbnail. I could use this one. I look really rough in this one though. It doesn't even look like me when I look at it. I think it's the hat. Yeah, not happy with that one. Hi, do you use bleach on resin drive? Terry, yes. Yeah, you don't want to go crazy with the dilution. I don't think it's necessarily needed, but on this one, I ended up using a mix of Hypo and Synergy Pro from Pure Seal. I put it in, I think it was in like a 10-litre tub. So this is the stuff I mixed it with. So just a dash of this, like a glug, a couple of glugs of this. This is like a degreaser, as well as just like a general all-purpose cleaner, heavy duty cleaner, and it smells beautiful as well. It's very like lemony, I think, very citrusy. So I added a couple of glugs of that into a slightly diluted 10 litres of Hypo, and then I sprayed it on. I started out, my plan was to just clean it first and then do a post treatment of Hypo and Synergy and just sort of rinse it off. But in the end, well, in the beginning actually, I did a little test patch just cleaning it. And the first thing I noticed was I needed to turn the pressure up slightly. I started out at 125 bar, and it wasn't getting all the moss out from the pores. And so instead of that, I thought I'm going to turn the pressure up, but also I think I'm going to pre-treat it, because I think it will. I don't know if the synergy helps. I think it does. The synergy helps to pull some of the dirt away from the surface and pull it to the top. And so I think that's a good idea to pre-treat with synergy. I do it with concrete as well. If you're ever cleaning concrete, like on a big scale, on like a commercial scale, if it's for like a sorry, I'm just turning my phone onto silent. If you're doing like a loading bay, like a commercial loading bay where lorries back in and stuff, it's a good idea to use synergy and a hypo mix, because it'll degrease as well as the synergy is going to degrease for you, and then the hypo is going to get rid of anything organic, and then clean it. And my method for this was like the same sort of principle as concrete, in that I'm pre-treating it because I want to avoid tram lines as much as possible. That was my main thing with this. I don't want to leave tram lines, so I ended up doing a circular motion. That's when the camera fell over and broke again. Which is why it's quite glary today, because I'll show you a picture. I'll send it in the Discord. Has everyone got off to a good start? Are we busy? How many of us are... There's a couple of people been messaging me saying, what are you doing that I'm not, sort of thing, because I'm quiet. I think most established pressure washing businesses at the moment, the ones that have been going for like over 2 years, I think pretty much everyone's busy at the minute, because it is peak season. But if you've not been going very long, then I'll put those in the Discord. The crazy thing with resin is, watch this when I put the water down on the surface. When I initially start washing, using the X-Jet here, just rinsing off, the water just disappears. This bit now. Look at that. The water just goes in and it disappears, and it's like... I also found that I was rinsing the dirt, like I was rinsing all this dirt away, and it wasn't sort of pushing it into a corner in the end of the drive. It was just disappearing. I was rinsing it and it just disappeared. I don't know where the dirt went. Apart from like the big chunks of clumpy moss and stuff, they all sort of rinsed away into the corner. But the dirt, the dirty water and the granules and stuff, they just sort of disappeared as you're rinsing. So it's a very, very strange surface to clean. Nothing like I've ever cleaned before. Hello, William. If you don't mind, mate, how much did you quote for the repointing job? Oh, the one that I posted today. I think I've undercharged because everyone's saying like between 1,200 and 1,700 quid or something, but I was at £1,055 all in. But I think, considering I only used this was a job that I quoted last year. Literally this time last year, he said, book me in for another 12 months and we'll get it repointed this time. And I quoted him at that point based on my prices last year. So if I'd have quoted it again this year with my new prices, it would have probably been like an extra 30 to 40% more expensive. But he's a lovely customer, and you know, he's got a big property, and I've done work for his mum as well, and I wasn't really interested in charging much more than that. I might do if I did it again you know, in a couple of years' time. But again, like he's paying me to come back and do maintenance visits to keep it looking fresh throughout the year. So I'm not too worried about the price on that one personally. I managed to pay rich. I got a decent chunk out of it myself. All the materials are paid for, and it was a good experience. So that's all that matters, really, isn't it? Evening Monkey, how you doing, mate? 40 meters squared. I feel quite ready after seeing your video using the Sika stuff. Is it called Sika Flex? Why is it called Flex? Is Sika Flex the one that they use for porcelain? Because Sika Fast Fix is that one, isn't it? Sika Flex, is that the porcelain one for skinny joints? Looks like it is. Presumably you squeeze it in with one of those and then like what do they call it when they like scrape off the excess? It's kind of like a pointing tool, but they use it in bathrooms and stuff for like a grouter, like a grouting tool. And then maybe like a wet sponge to get rid of any excess that's spilled over. It'd be nice if you could take the time to like tape up all the tops of the joints so that it can only go in between the tape, and then when you pull the tape back, it's this nice perfect finish. But it doesn't really it's not really worth the time, is it, to put in to go around masking everything off. Evening Russ, how you doing, mate? Lindsay, welcome. Hi Cameron, watched your resin video. Joints came out really good. The resin video, the repointing video, do you mean? I put so much water down onto this drive, and it all just absorbed straight into the drive. There was barely anything at the end of the drive, like going down onto the tarmac road. There was barely anything. It's such a strange surface to clean, but this is the most important bit, is rinsing, like thoroughly rinsing, to make sure you've not got any sort of weird dirty patches. And I was rinsing with the turbo nozzle because it was doing a better job than the X-Jet for some reason. I just had the turbo nozzle on quite far away, like 200 bar, so it was on full power, like full pressure, but I was really far away from the surface, and I was just sort of rinsing it all in one direction. How long can you apply back 50 after hypo, as they can't be mixed, can they? No, I did put back 50 on this after I'd thoroughly rinsed everything. So the hypo had been down. I'd done the surface cleaner over the top, so I'd fully diluted the hypo, and it would have been, the reaction would have finished by the time I got to the end of the drive cleaning it. And then I went through and rinsed everything down, and then it started to dry up. And then I put the back 50 on, so that hypo was long gone by the time I put the biocide down. I didn't show it in this video, but I thought I went round and inspected, and there were just a very few tiny little spots where there was still a bit of moss, and I didn't feel comfortable going any harder with the pressure washer any closer. I just didn't want to damage anything. So yeah, I just thought, treat it with biocide, that'll kill all the moss, and it'll help prevent the regrowth over the next sort of 12 months or so. Give the customer the best value for money possible. Craig, welcome. Licks lampposts, thanks mate. Craig, how's your weekend been? Did anyone watch the fight? Me and Soap were up late on Saturday night watching the fight. Absolute shocker. Emotional roller coaster. No worries, Terry, mate. Prompt peak. Are you able to potentially make some little badges for the channel? I think there's a quite a specific requirement on size, so it might be more work than it's worth really. But I made some a while back, something like this. So I've got these badges, like subscriber badges, depending on how long someone's been subscribed for, or maybe even how long they've been, what membership tier they are. I thought these were quite cool. I made these myself. It's the first ever time I've done any sort of pixel art, which I thought I was quite proud of these. But they've got to, I think you've got to submit them in all three sizes. Like a large one, a small one. That one's like 36 by 36, 72 by 72, 18 by 18. Might not be worth it. It's quite a ball ache, isn't it, to do all that. Let me know if you're interested. Happily send some money away. How do you clean a roof with ridged roof tiles like this house, as most videos are flat tiled roofs? Chris, this roof in this video, how do you clean one of these roofs with ridged roof tiles? Well, it depends. Do you want to pressure wash it or do you want to scrape it? You could either get up there with a cat ladder and scrape it by hand. Make sure you're harnessed on. You could use a scaffolding tower and scrape it with a long extendable pole with a scraper kit on it, like the ones that good to vacuum systems sell. Or you could get a scaffolding tower and use a high pressure pole. The roof scraping kits come with all the different types of blades for each tile and stuff. So that they fit the profile of each tile. You have a badge in your DMs courtesy of earlier. What are you talking about? Which DMs in Discord? Badge. What are you saying, Matt? What are you talking about? I like that. Did you screenshot the live stream? Did you rewind, screenshot it and cut it out? That's so funny. I can't believe you've just done that so quickly. That's hilarious. Oh, we've got a Mark in the chat. Welcome, Mark. Yeah, the other way you could do it. Oh god, this is the most uncomfortable chair ever, and it's the squeakiest one as well. The other way you could do it is to pressure wash the roof with a extendable pressure washing pole. This is the one I've got. But yeah, generally you'd do it from a scaffolding tower, from some sort of self-assembled, movable scaffolding tower. You were thinking 1,200 quid? Yeah. I don't think I was far off with the pricing. Considering I priced it last year, I'm not too worried. Craig, you're so inappropriate. Just watched the first few minutes of your video. I used blue tack in the joints. Ah, what a great idea. Blue tacking underneath the wall caps so that the joint doesn't fall between the things. That's a great idea. Courtesy of Liam from LRS Exterior. Did you end up quoting that job, Liam? Did he get in touch? Exterior Clean Nottingham says, I have the Parker machine you started with. Can you draw water from a tank with that machine? As I would like to use it when the water pressure on the tap is bad. I mean, generally you shouldn't need to, because it's only 11 litres per minute. If you come across a tap that's got like less than 11 litres per minute, or is it 12? I mean, to be fair, you could probably draw from like a bucket, like a gorilla bucket. I saw someone using one of these as a buffer tank. It's not a bad idea, because on a smaller machine, you don't need much really, do you? I saw it on Facebook the other day, I think. You could still stick a float valve on the side and a draw from it. I can't answer this question with absolute confidence, but I'm pretty sure most pressure washers, as long as the fill level, as long as the level of the tank is higher than the inlet of the pump, it will draw. Once it starts running and once the air is purged out of the feed hose, it will start pulling water just because it's gravity fed. If you're trying to, say you've got a buffer tank wheelie bin and you've got a suction hose and you put it over the top of the wheelie bin and down into the bottom. Did I just say wheelie bin? I think I did. Down into the bottom of the wheelie bin. The water has got to be sucked up over the top and then back down again. And if you've got any air in that hose, it's not going to work. Like, it's going to take ages to try and purge that air out. Like any air bubbles, it's going to take ages. So if you've got a short suction hose and it's going into the bottom of the buffer tank and the water is above the resting level of your pump on your pressure washer, I'm sure it will have no problem sucking the water, because it's essentially being gravity fed. I think most machines will do that. Hi Jake, I followed your tutorial on how to make the buffer tank. I'm not getting 15 litres per minute out of the bin. I use a hose lock connection at the bottom. Do I need a thicker hose? Yeah, I'd say at the bottom. Oh dear, I can feel my voice going. You could use a hose lock connection. Ideally, you'd want at least a 3/4 inch diameter feed. And so you could use a 3/4 inch barb fitting. So say you've probably got a little ball valve at the bottom of your buffer tank. You can screw this in, and then your 3/4 inch suction hose going to your machine, you can just slide that over the top and Jubilee clip it. And then you've got like a true 3/4 inch feed going all the way through then. If you're going down to even a 3/4 inch hose tap connector, the internal diameter, I think the thread is 3/4 inch, but the internal diameter probably isn't, is it? I'm confusing myself now. Yeah, it goes down to like 1/2 inch. So presumably yours looks something like that, doesn't it? So it's being reduced quite a lot. If you can get like a barb fitting on there, you can open that hole quite a bit, I'd assume. And also you want to make sure that you've got a... I'm surprised that you're not getting 15 litres per minute out the bottom. I mean, yeah, I suppose it makes sense. If it will also... The amount of flow that comes out of the bottom of your tank when you've got nothing connected will also depend on how much water is in the tank, because the weight of that water will be pushing down and pushing more water out. If it's only filled very slightly, there's no weight to it, and so it's going to drip out. You'll notice a massive difference between when the tank's full and when it's half empty as to how fast that water comes out. But even so, your machine will probably be sucking as well. So when everything's hooked up, you might not need to worry in the first place. Sorry, I'm just catching up on messages. I have a JCB 15 litre per minute machine. Nice. TJB cleaning services. Oh, that's the one you were talking about when you asked about the hose. Oh, it's just the standard. You mean like a standard hose pipe? So any suction hose, you'll need a reinforced suction hose coming from the bottom of the tank. So these are wire reinforced. You don't want them to, if they're not reinforced with some kind of wire like this, they'll collapse. So you can't use like a standard 3/4 inch garden hose. And you don't want it any more. I think the max is around about 3 meters. I'd probably stay under 2 meters for the length of this suction hose. Yeah, Lindsay's got it. XTX, welcome. I'm late because there was no notification and it's not popped up on Discord. Does it generally pop up on Discord? I don't post anything in Discord. I would have thought if you have your notification bell turned on, you might get notified. Oh, he's not been in contact. Okay. Squeaky Dave, welcome. Was watching while listening while doing my invoices, but all done, paying attention now. If anyone's got any questions, any technical questions, chemical related questions, anything like that, feel free. I've got some bits that I want to talk through tonight, but I'm not in any sort of rush, so we can go deep, as deep as you guys like tonight. Oh, that came out wrong. Never mind. Jamie Hilton, welcome. How you doing, mate? Stepped aside for a bit. Just spotted your badge query. Yeah, let me know. Yeah, I'm happy with the pixel art. I think it was quite good, isn't it? I've been told just to use purified water for a full conservatory clean. What would you use chemical as well for a better finish? Would you use chemical as well for a better finish? So I've got a video on my channel about the benefits, in my opinion, of using something like TFR on any kind of glass, PVC. In the Discord today, I'll show you that video in just a second. Where was it? Where was it? Who posted literally just about the synergy that you've used? I can't remember who it was. Must have been in chemical chat. No. 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 Come on, who's posted it? It's gone. It's disappeared. Here's my camera look. Can you believe it? Luckily, I think it's just the lens. Like I can unscrew that lens and pop a new one in. Like it's just like a lens cover, luckily. And the back screen as well got smashed. It's in quotes. Thanks, Matt. God, you're good, ain't you? You're good, ain't you? Who's posted that? Stupid. Here it is. Why didn't I see that? Andy, Ace of Sprays. So he's used Synergy on this, but he's also used it on the PVC, and I use Synergy on PVC sometimes as well. And it just loosens everything up. It like pulls the dirt away from the surface, and it just makes rinsing. You still got to agitate, like cleaning PVC and perspex and all that sort of stuff. You do still have to agitate. There's no miracle cure for spraying some sort of chemical on, rinsing it off, and it does all the work for you. You've still got a brush. But Synergy is really good. You can see the brown is starting to like melt all the stuff off, which you don't get if you just spray water on this. It wouldn't look any different, but you can see the chemicals are clearly doing something to draw the dirt out of the PVC or off of the PVC. I've got a video on my channel from a couple of months back where I was cleaning windows and PVC with a specific caustic TFR, and it leaves like a hydrophilic finish on the glass, so all the water just sort of sheets off. That's the word that Squeaky Clean Dave taught me. It sheets off instead of beading. You don't want it to bead, you want it to sheet. And also it just does a really good job of cleaning the white work. But in this weather, you've got to be really careful using any sort of chemicals, any TFRs or Synergy or degreasers or whatever, leaving them on the PVC too long, because it will dry super quick, any more than like 2 or 3 minutes, and it will dry and it will stain. And you'll wet it off and you'll rinse it. And then as soon as it's dry, you'll see all these marks where the TFR's been and where it's baked on. And I think the way to get rid of that is to reapply the TFR or whatever product you've used. Reapply it, agitate it, and then rinse it off nice and quick. But the TFR that I used in this is called Drive Tech TFR, Traffic Film Remover. And this one was from GSF Car Parts. And it's the only one that I found that leaves that perfect mirrored sheeting hydrophilic finish. The other TFRs that I've tried, there we go, look, there's the difference. The other ones that I've tried don't necessarily do that as well. And I don't think Synergy does it as well. But Synergy is still great for cleaning PVC. But I used it on my sister's windows just as like a trial, and it just beaded and it left water spots all over the windows, which is what you'd expect unless you're using pure water. Oh, I'm out of breath from talking about all that. Also, some people rave about Ubic. Can you use that Ubic stuff? Ubic 3000, is it? On 2000. I think you can use that stuff on PVC. Guys, it's that time already. I need a wee. How long have we've been going for half an hour, and I need a wee already. I'm sorry. I'll be back soon, I promise. Watch an advert. I'm just going to take a short break to talk about Moja, who have kindly sponsored this video. As some of you guys already know, I like to quote all of my jobs based on a price per square metre for each different surface type. In the beginning, when I was pricing up driveways and patios, I used to just take a tape measure with me. Not only do I think that looks a little bit unprofessional, but I also think it falls apart when you want to measure any kind of curved area without being some sort of maths genius. Then I gradually switched over to Google Earth, but I found myself constantly questioning the accuracy in the measurements. And also, most of the time, the images were too shadowy or blurry to get a decent view of the area. One of my landscaping friends recommended the Moja One to me because he said it's way more accurate than any of those other methods, and it was speeding up the time it was taking him to put these quotes together. The Moja One literally measures down to the millimetre, and you can quickly plot out any shaped driveway, patio, steps, curves, walls. I've not come across one thing that it hasn't tackled yet. It's been a few weeks since Moja sent this out to me, but in that time it's completely transformed my quoting workflow. You can save multiple measurements to specific project folders, and I've been emailing the PDFs from my phone directly to the customer. You guys know I only work with suppliers who I think are going to benefit my audience, and I couldn't think of a better product to streamline the quoting process. It's so simple to use. If you'd like to try the Moja One, head to moja.co.uk and use my code X8SMELTS to get £20 off your order. Link in the description. 71 square meters.
That's mad.
Sick, innit? It's so accurate, and you can like see it in 3D space as well.
So good.
Look at that. So you can see the fall off. So say if you've got like a driveway that's sloping in, and you're not sure when the water's going to flow.
No way. So it's picked up the steps. It's picked up that little bit. Mate, that is sick.
Welcome back, everyone. Sorry about that. Goaks connectors. Someone said in the chat they use Goaks connectors. What are they? I spelt it wrong. I don't know what I'm supposed to be looking at. I'm in the market for a bit of kit that could run hypo and biocide like a dosatron, but I don't think it exists. It's either dose demon or chemical pump from WCW. Window Cleaning Warehouse. They're quite expensive, aren't they? They're like upwards of 600 quid. Does Darren do the wider hose lock? Yes, he does. Yeah. I don't think it's on the website. It's a Karcher fitting, actually. Karcher hose lock large. I don't know. I'm not sure. Can't find it. But yes, he does sell them. What high pressure hose are you all running? I'm needing to get a new one. I've got a tear in mine. William, mine is from PWS. I think it's called the Alpha HP hose. And I've got the twin wire. I think I've got the 40 meter with the 10 meter extension. That's the one I've gone for. You've gone for the Kiam 3700 PR. Did you use the standard suction pipe to connect the Kiam? Yes, I did. Yeah. I've got a resin drive to quote for a regular window customer. He's not convinced the moss, etc. will come out without it disturbing the stones. Need a way to explain to him. I'll do a test patch. Yeah, that's probably the best way to do it. Is do a test patch. Have you got a surface cleaner, Brad? If you can do, I found good success with 40-degree nozzles, 150 bar. It cleaned it absolutely fine. It's a shame there weren't like a very impressive colour change, because if it was really dirty, it was lovely like a bright red drive. It wouldn't be the sort of resin that I'd go for if I had resin installed. I'd go for like a silvery grey or like a white or something. I wonder if you can get black resin. Oh, that would look beautiful. Black resin with like a granity grey flake in it. Oh, look like the surface of the moon or something. Oh, it just looks like tarmac actually. Oh, that is posh though. Look at that. Yeah, that just looks like tarmac from a distance actually. Oh, that looks good though. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like it's got a bit of grey in it. I think with like maybe some white granite bricks around the outside, that could look real posh. I like the black and white with like no partition. Oh look, they've got all the different blends. Black basalt. Yeah, you could, there's so many options with resin. I quite like the red and black actually. I have a IBC 1000 litre running a GX 390 Honda. David, what made you go for the 1000 litre IBC? Is it because Equip to Clean sold it you by any chance? Is it normal for a 4050 psi hose pipe to keep bursting? Boosting or bursting? What pump have you got? And what sort of hose pipe is it, I suppose? And are you running heat through it? Are you dragging it around corners? The one thing with high pressure hoses, if you drag that hose around like a sharp brick corner, the side of a house or something, you might not initially put any sort of wear or damage to the hose, but with it resting up against that wall and then the vibrations from pressure washing, it will gradually eat through the hose. So if you can, when you're pulling things around corners and stuff, leave a couple of inches gap so that the hose has room to vibrate without rubbing up against anything. TFR for conservatories does a great job. Yep, does a grand treat. Do you think Squeaky Clean's power brush would work on a moss-ridden tarmac path? Potentially, it could be for anyone who doesn't know what he's talking about, that could be the line between like agitating and pressure washing at the same time. The line between like a dry Westerman clean and like a wet pressure wash. What am I talking about? I can't focus. Squeaky chicken. So Dave's just put this video out about his new solar brush. I'm not convinced by this, just in the amount of effort it looked like. I mean, Dave said himself that he probably wouldn't use that again on a roof like on a conservatory roof like that one. But he's having to apply the chemicals with like a water-fed pole and a brush. He's using that then to wash. And then he's rinsing with another water-fed pole, high-pressure pole. And then he's scrubbing in pure water afterwards. So it's like 4 passes on one surface. I mean, I'm sure it's got its place. I mean, he's using it for a conservatory roof when it's clearly marketed, I suppose, as a solar panel cleaning brush. So, I mean, we'll have to wait for his next video because he says he's got some solar panels booked in. So, I'm quite excited to see that. do. First time using Q fittings today was so much easier. Need a flat surface cleaner Q spigot. Yeah, my friend Richard, who was on last week, he's just bought a surface cleaner and he's just ordered one of these. He just needs to fit it. Q fittings do save a lot of time. No worries, Joe. If you told me I had my PVC replaced, I would have believed it. That Synergy literally makes it look like new. Yeah, Synergy is very powerful. It's very versatile as well. You can use it for a lot of different things. And the important bit is the Synergy is safe to mix with Hypo, which is, that mix is a very powerful combination depending on where you're using it. Jake, what do you and others do for long-term financial planning? For example, pension or similar? Are people getting insurance to cover wages if they break their leg, etc.? I don't see this discussed much. To be honest, mate, it's not something I've really put too much time into thinking about. And you're right, it's quite an important part of the... I mean, now that I'm working for myself, I'm not contributing really to any sort of pension or anything. And yeah, if I break my leg, I am just not earning. So I don't have any sort of like... Is it like, what would it be? Like injury insurance, where they pay you a certain amount of money to keep the money coming in while you're off sick or whatever. Like you would have if you were with any other employer. My brother would go mad at me if he knew I weren't contributing towards a pension, because he's always telling me like the pension's the most important thing you can do. We'll be talking about something, and then halfway through the conversation he'll be like, "But have you got a pension though?" Like, it's not got to do with anything we're talking about. No, carry on. Maybe we should invite... Is it Jack Bowley? Jack... someone? That chap. Maybe we should invite him on to discuss all that sort of stuff, because I bet he'd be the person to ask. Glenn says, when you use the X-Jet to apply hypo, do you turn the pressure down or lower the RPM of the machine? On my old 15 litre per minute Kiam machine, KM, however you say it, I would just turn the revs down. I wouldn't really bother messing about with the unloader valve. But on my new machine, I'm always sort of running it at idle. I'm running it on the lowest rev settings anyway to do most of my cleaning. Because if I turn the revs up, I don't need to be cleaning everything at 30 litres per minute. So I'm running it on idle. And then I've got a needle valve, and I'm normally between around about 75 and 125 bar when I'm spraying hypo, I think, roughly. What size scaffolding tower would you advise to purchase, AJ, or to rent? I asked Dorma this exact question the other day. Let's delve into my DMs and see what they said. Oh, I've got 6 message requests on Instagram. Okay. So the ones at my local rental place do a 5.4 meter or a 6.4 meter. I'm just finding the picture for reference so that you can see how big that actually is. And I posted it back in March. Oh, while it's here, I might as well show you the results of the render clean. There was still some stain in here under the plant pots, but I actually ran out of hypo, so I couldn't go back and treat it, but the biocide will catch all that sort of stuff. Looks like someone had already done a test patch here, because it's a little bit brighter than the rest of it. Anyway, it was back in March. It was a roof clean. I need to sneeze, I'm sorry. Still need to go back and biocide this one. Come on. Making my eyes hurt. This was it. Here we go. So, this one I believe this one was 6.4 meters, this tower. However, I hadn't put the extra bit on top. There was still another platform that I could have put on top, but I didn't bother because I didn't need it any higher. I'm sure that's what happened. Yes, it is. Yeah. No, it wasn't. We did that round the back, and the back is slightly elevated. I think this is the full 6.4 meters. One, two, three, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think this is 6.4 meter working height. So that's where you start. No, I don't know how they work it all out. I'm sorry, I can't answer that question. I tried. Hi Ray, welcome mate. Did you just screw the suction pipe into the ball valve on the tank? Yes, that's what I did. Pick up Jake. Nice one, Harry. Well done. Good luck with it. You can see how I did that suction pipe from the Equip to Clean machine on one of my latest videos. This one. Because we hooked Richards up to it.
We're hoping that we're going to be able to clean it and it's going to dry, so that we can resand it today as well. Got an interesting setup today. We brought Richard.
Is the streamer a little bit glitchy? Because this is super smooth on this screen, but when I look over to that screen, it's a little bit sort of, it's not lagging, but it's a little bit,
machine.
The frame rate's quite low.
In the van as well.
See this suction hose
So
coming out the bottom?
What we're trying to do, what we're hoping we can do, is run both machines.
This is the same machine that you've got.
Off of just the one 250 litre tank.
I think.
So we've got his return to tank bypass just going back into the top.
I don't think you'll have the return to tank bypass because I did like a unloader valve upgrade on this one to make sure I had that, so that it cycles the water rather than just rather than the pump just gradually heating up. Every time you come off the trigger, the pump starts to heat up basically. But on this one, when you come off the trigger, the pump keeps recirculating the water back into the tank.
Up there, hopefully that stays in place and doesn't start pissing everywhere. And then we've got
So this is the tank.
the feed hose coming from the customer's water supply, around about 12 litres per minute, which isn't ideal. My feed hose comes from the bottom of the water tank. The suction hose goes into the pump. And then I've got a second hose here, which ordinarily I'd use to just drain the
So that should be the same hose that you've got
feed hose comes from the bottom of the water tank. The suction hose
from
goes
Equip to Clean.
And then I've got a second hose here.
That one there, this wire reinforced clear hose, you can just screw that generally into a 3/4 inch ball valve.
Which ordinarily I'd use to just drain the tank. This yellow one here.
I've got 2 ball valves there for no reason.
But instead we've hooked up Richard's suction hose here as well, so we're able to run 2 machines off it. How long this water's going to last before we need to stop, I don't know.
So yeah, hope that answers your question. The resin looks like tarmac, but unlike tarmac, it will keep its colour and structure for way longer. Looks amazing. I suppose if you overdo the sparkles in it, yeah, that's a good point actually, because as soon as that bitumen top layer is gone on tarmac, that's it. All the aggregate starts to come away, the colour's gone, and your drive's knackered. But with resin, I can imagine that top layer, whatever that bond is, I suppose it's resin, isn't it? That should last. I mean, how long does a resin driveway last? "25 years. When properly maintained. How long does tarmac driveway last? 15 to 20. I'd argue probably less from the ones that I've seen. I mean, maybe it will last 15 to 20, but it will become faded after like 5 years. But a resin driveway should never fade, because the stones give it the colour, not the bitumen on top. With tarmac, it's just sort of grey aggregate that is held together with the black bitumen. As soon as that black bitumen's gone, it's the driveway is just grey then, isn't it? Evening people, new camera. No, it's just a different position, that's all. I just thought I'd change it up a little bit. I thought it makes sense, rather than having the camera here, whenever I look over to chat, whenever I look over to read your guys' messages, it makes sense that the camera's above that, so that it looks like I'm addressing you. Is that good? I think that's good. Hi David, welcome mate. Thanks for the equipment advice you gave me last night. I'm thinking about going for the cheaper one. After reading through the reviews, the aftercare team sounds top notch. David, what were we talking about? Oh, what equipment were we talking about? I can't remember. What do you think of the JCB brand pressure washer? It's got the AR pump, 15 litres per minute, £1,000. Sounds like a decent deal for what you get. Yes. Yeah, it sounds like a good deal. We were discussing it on the live stream a while ago, because it happens to have the same pump as this one. And it's got, I think it's got a fixed unloader valve, which Darren said, I think he said in a roundabout way that it's not ideal, but you could upgrade the pump essentially. But like if you ever needed to, you could fit like a return to tank feed. You could upgrade the unloader valve and stuff. But as a first machine, I think you'd be absolutely fine with the JCB. This one, isn't it? Yeah, it's got the same pump look. That's a better picture, actually. So what we say by the fixed unloader valve, the unloader, the cast of the unloader valve is part of the pump. Whereas on my Equip to Clean model, I had the freedom to change the unloader valve without affecting the pump. How do I make that bigger? So this is sort of bolted onto the side, so you can undo this and pull it off. and keep the the pump remains where it is. But other than that, yeah, like you say, it's a great starter machine, and there's no reason why that wouldn't. As long as you maintain it, you can get spare parts for it and stuff. There's no reason why you couldn't use that as a professional machine going forward. The thing with these machines, when you upgrade over the years, is not necessarily for more power. I mean, a lot of people do go from like a 15 litre per minute machine, and they think, oh, I'd like to upgrade to a 21 litre per minute machine. There's not a lot between them, really. But generally, people are upgrading for quality, and the cost reflects the quality. So when you're paying £1,000 for a machine, you've got to expect that it's not the best parts, and stuff's probably going to break, and O-rings are gonna constantly be an issue, and the lance isn't very comfortable, and it'll probably start leaking after a while, and things will corrode quicker, and you'll have to replace stuff. You've got to appreciate that when you buy something like this, it's not a one-off purchase. You're constantly buying replacement parts or things to maintain it. But then going from this to a machine that's £2,500, for example, you're probably going to be spending much less on maintenance because it's using better parts. As long as you service it well and you're not doing anything stupid with it, it should last for a lot longer. And you've just got that peace of mind that you're running a reliable machine. And so when you're on these bigger commercial jobs, instead of constantly having to deal with little minor leaks here and there, the money that you pay for a more expensive branded machine, like a recognised Honda GX390 or a Vanguard or something, with all the nice fittings, they're more expensive for a reason. It's because they're going to save you time and money in the long run. But not everyone's in a position to drop that sort of money on their first machine, and I certainly wasn't. My first machine was £300, and it broke after about 3 months, 6 months. Looking to get a starter kit from Equip to Clean. Is the 3700PR a good pressure washer to start with? Yes. It's the one I upgraded to. This was my second machine. Again, like I've just said, you've got to appreciate that it's a cheaper machine. It's using cheaper parts. I don't think much of the lance personally, and I had a huge problem with the shuttle spring in the unloader valve, like a little spring that kept disintegrating. It happened to me 4 times in the space of a year, and it renders the machine useless. If that little thing breaks, the machine will start surging and pulsing, and it shoots disintegrated pieces of spring down the high pressure hose into your turbo nozzle or into your surface cleaner or whatever, and it'll block that nozzle. And all the ones that it's done that to, I've not been able to replace. Normally you can take the turbo nozzle apart and repair it, because it was like a high pressure piece of metal. It's stuck inside the ceramic or whatever's in the turbo nozzle, so it's like it just scrapped my turbo nozzle instantly. And it happened to like 2 turbo nozzles, and it happened to my surface cleaner jet as well. And loads of people have had the same issue with this unloader valve. But other than that, I mean, I changed mine. Again, it's part of a video that I did on YouTube, because I film everything I do, pretty much. I did a video which sort of explains the upgrade that I made, where I installed, or I got pressure washer sales and service. These guys over in Evesham, they fitted an upgraded unloader valve that returned to tank. Like I say, so it means you can let go of the trigger, and it will keep recirculating that water, and you're not heating up the pump. And along with that, it got rid of that issue where the spring kept disintegrating. This little thing, look, it's called a shuttle and spring, and it kept just snapping in half and blowing to bits, basically. So that's the new one. You see how the unloader valve is sideways instead of poking up in the air. Totally different system, and it's got that yellow return to tank hose coming off the top of it now. And this is the one I've sold to my friend Rich. There's the old one in the bag, look. So that's the main issue with these. That's the main reliability problem that I found. And I had a couple of pumps spring a little oil leak. The little sight glass, I remember the sight glass on one of the pumps was leaking oil. And they sent out a replacement. Now the first time it was dripping oil from between the gearbox and the pump. The second pump that they gave me, they sent it out, which was nice, but I think it was either a used, no, it wasn't a used pump, but I think it got damaged. The sight glass had a little crack in it, and it was also dislodged slightly, and that was dripping oil as well. But they tried to convince me that this isn't a common issue, but I had 7 or 8 other people messaging me saying they've had exactly the same thing, and they got told that it's not like a design fault, but loads of people are having exactly the same issue. So, I mean, they tried to tell me it's because I had dirty water in the tank and it was sucking dirty water through, and that's what was causing the spring to break. But I had 3 filters. I had a filter on the top of the tank, the bottom of the tank, and there's a filter on the unloader valve going in. So, yeah, don't get me started on them. The platform's about 4 meters on that one. Each big frame is 2 meters. The smaller ones, like you have on the top, are 1 meter. Okay, there we go. I'm so happy I'm only thinking about gutter cleaning and not roof cleaning during my first winter. Yeah. Oh, that's what we were talking about, yeah. Yeah, starting a pressure washing business and then going straight into roof cleaning, I think is insane. I think that's such a scary move. Get used to your equipment on the ground first for like a good year, a good 12 months. Get used to doing the job properly and everything that's involved in cleaning driveways and patios, and then maybe look at doing roof cleaning. I think jumping straight into it as a new business is pretty nutty. I wouldn't advise it at all. You'll find OBS is likely dropping frames on your playback preview. Okay. Yeah, as long as it looks fine for you guys, that's great. Thank you. Do you also have the pressure washer in the van? Are you talking to... 4.2 meter platform height, 6.2 meter standing height on the My Tower. Takes 5 minutes to set up and it's so compact it fits in the Peugeot Partner. Does it? Can you fit that tower in the Peugeot Partner along with your other equipment though? Because as soon as I had my pressure washer and my buffer tank in my Peugeot, you can see there I could barely fit anything else in there. Certainly wouldn't be able to fit a tower in there. FG Exterior Cleaning, welcome mate. Anyone recommend a good comprehensive pressure washing course? I'm about to take the plunge into pressure washing as an add-on to my business and want more knowledge. I think there's a chap on Instagram called Macintosh. He's got a YouTube channel as well. Macintosh. How do you spell his name? AE Macintosh on Instagram. And he's offering a pressure washing course. Industry training, and you do actually get a recognized certificate afterwards as well. And the most important thing that you gain from this is hands-on. You get hands-on with the kit as well, which is very, very... If you can get it's difficult because not a lot of people well, maybe I'm just talking for myself, but if you can get on a job with someone, even if you're not being paid, if you can jump on a job, spend a day with like a roof cleaner or a day with someone that's doing pressure washing and stuff, and they've got like a packed calendar, so it's not just one little job. You wanna get with an established business and just say, I can offer a day's free labour. I just want to see your equipment and how it works. That is totally invaluable when it comes to then choosing your own equipment and understanding what you're about to buy. That's massive. I bet someone like H2O in Bromsgrove would let people come out with them. These guys. I wonder if they would. These guys are franchising soon. They'll be selling their sort of brand as a franchise and setting people up with like the latest equipment and stuff. I think I'm going to be doing some adverts for them. Tarmac will last 15 to 20, but will look really bad by the end. Resin should look good until it starts failing. Yeah, I mean, I suppose when resin fails, this one... Sorry, we've all been a little bit ill in this house. This one that I did recently, you can't actually see it on the photos, but there were cracks starting to form in the resin. I don't know how old it was. It didn't look that old. You can't really see, but there were cracks. Sort of here, around here. Got tarmac in our backyard and the colour has just faded so bad. Probably my mum's fault for not cleaning it in years. I've got a huge tarmac job that I've just quoted. You guys in the Discord will know. I'll see if I can pull it up on stream so you can see. It's over 680 square meters of tarmac that he not only wants cleaning but restoring as well, like painting. Look at this. It wraps all the way around the house and it goes all the way up the garden. You guys want to know the price I've put in? I've said, I quoted it last year, but he never got back to me, and now he's got back to me this year and said he wants it doing. But I can't find the old quote, and I'm guessing it's changed a lot because I'm a little bit more experienced now, and I probably massively underpriced it last year. But based on my calculator, Smout.club, if anyone needs help with their pricing, have a little look on here. So it was something like, 650 square meters of tarmac. Around about £3 per square meter to clean it. And then the sealing cost, it was going to be £6 per litre. The coverage was 2.5 litres per square metre. And it's going to be 2 coats of sealer. So the required sealer would be around about 520 litres for that area. So I've worked off of this. It's given me exactly how much I need to spend on the sealer. 3 grand on sealer. I've not gone crazy with the labour to actually roll it on, because it's quite an enjoyable process actually, and to have before and after pictures from a job like that would be seriously impressive. And most of the labour is in the washing itself. So yeah, about £9.30 per square metre on that one. Big old jobbo. He wanted to call me today to discuss it, but looks like he hasn't got round to it. XTX pressure washer is staying mobile for the moment, as you kind of need 50 to 70 meters of hose. Oh, you're talking to XTX pressure washing. Sorry, I think we went through this last week, didn't we? This confused me last week. Liam, I reckon you can get away with a 40 meter high pressure hose on a reel mounted in the van, and then maybe a 10 or a 20 meter extension. I only use a 10 meter extension, and it's fine for every single job I've done so far. You might want to consider it. Just an extension that you can roll up and leave in the van. The Coast to Coast Explorer, welcome. Jake, I'm watching your videos for a while and I'm learning a lot. Trying to start up myself. I've got a machine and I've just purchased my disc cleaner, but I'm needing a chemical injector. My last job was 200 square meters and it took me ages using a bucket and brush. Oh my god, I can imagine a bucket and brush on 200 square meters. That would be insane. A bucket and brush is surprisingly slow. I tried to do it on a big driveway the other week, and it took ages. It's a really good method for applying the hypo, but it didn't have to take a long time on a big drive. This one. So we did a bucket and brush on this part of the drive, on this section, and no joke, it must have took almost an hour. The path around the side and then this driveway must have took about an hour to do a bucket and brush. So but Jakey was doing it, so one of us was doing the bucket and brush while the other one was cleaning this side of the driveway. I didn't really want, if I'd have got the X-Jet out, it would mean one of us would be X-Jetting and the cleaning wouldn't have been getting done. So it was like we were trying to double team it. Speaking of which, I've just placed an order for a new machine. I've just put in an extra special smelty order for my new starter. I've got an apprentice. He's not an apprentice. He's going to be I suppose I'll be training him up. Yeah. But he's going to have a brand new machine when he starts, and it's going to be a bit of a beast. I don't know whether I should talk about it just now or just do a whole video on it. Yeah, we'll talk about it if you guys are interested. I'd consider using an X-Jet. The other one you could go for is the Pro Foam from Rutland Pumps, which is the one Richard was using. Richard was using in my recent video, something like this. And that, again, just like the X-Jet, comes with all the little proportioners that allow you to change the dilution ratio. I think it works out a little bit cheaper than the X-Jet. The only difference with this that Rich noticed is that because he's played with mine and he purchased his own, he's played with the X-Jet and he's purchased the Pro Foam, he said he kind of prefers the X-Jet because you can rinse down much easier with it. With this one, you can't really rinse because it's got like a set. You can't adjust the fan at the end of the nozzle. There's no adjustment on it. So it just is what it is. And it's probably around about a 65 degree spread. Like a 40 to 65 degree spread maybe. And the way it comes out, because it's fed through some sort of mesh filter, it kind of comes out as like a weird It's perfect for foaming up hypo, but it's not a smooth flow that you want for rinsing. It's like a distorted flow. So you can't do a good rinse with it. But if you're not bothered about rinsing with it, if you've got like a different rinse lance that you use, then the Pro Foam's perfect. Depends what you want. And that's not something I knew before I recommended that Rich try it. If I'd have known that, I'd probably tried to like mention it first just to make sure he's happy. I feel a bit bad because I think he'd have preferred the X-Jet now that he's tried it. Yeah, David, if you can get replacement parts, that's the main thing. Motorshed. Don't know if you've answered this before, but what is your opinion on buying chemicals off websites like Amazon instead of Pure Seal, for example, if really strong chemicals are not needed? Yeah, for the convenience of like Amazon Prime and stuff, if you can get them delivered next day and things like that. The only issue is I don't think you'll get the sort of strength, like you say, I don't think you'll get the sort of strength that you can get from industrial suppliers like Pure Seal or Smart Seal or any of those other suppliers. Get it from where you can get it from. I mean, I get my hypo from a local farm shop because it's really cheap and it's local. Like, I've run out now and I'm just going to go and pick some up tomorrow because it's just down the road. And then I mix it with the Pure Seal surfactant. But because I only need a little bit of surfactant in these big barrels of hypo, I could order the surfactant in bulk and only have to order it like once every three or 4 months because it lasts ages. Get it from wherever it's most convenient for you. Just understand that there are different strengths. Not all hypo is the same. I saw someone had this problem with the unloader spring and they used a pen spring for a short-term fix to get through their job. Yeah, I found a local spring manufacturer literally just down the road and they had something that was very similar that actually worked. It wasn't the correct spring, but it worked. And that got me through because on the website, on the Equip to Clean website, the spring is like 20 odd quid. The replacement spring. It's called a shuttle. I think it's this one. 25 quid including VAT for a bloody spring. You don't need that bit because that bit lasts fine. It's just the little spring. And I ordered this once and then it happened again. And I was like, I'm not ordering it again. And I managed to get a couple of these springs. And I don't think it was even the spring itself that was the issue because... Did the new one break? I can't remember. I can fit all biocide stuff with the tower in the partner, backpack, pole, hoses, buckets, etc. Really? Have you got a long wheelbase partner or something? Is that including your pressure washer as well? Been looking at the Equip to Clean exterior cleaning business packages designed for multiple services. Opinions on those? Worth a few grand considering all that's included. Not particularly. The ones that I've seen, they're sort of filled with a lot of extra bump that you don't really want, I don't think. It depends which business package you're looking at because they're all different. Some of them are okay, but others... I mean, for example... No one needs... I've emailed them about this because I think they should just take it off the website. No one needs 1,000 litre IBC. This is not a roof cleaning pole. You try using that for roof cleaning and it's just not going to work. It's just going to... They're so flexible. It's not long enough. As soon as you put high pressure through it, it's going to bend and flick backwards up in the air. Yeah, the X-Jet, their version of the X-Jet only dilutes 1 to 6 or 1 to 9. And so that's pointless for hypo. or biocide. And it just makes you question like whether the other products are actually sort of suitable. Like how good is this camera? I don't know. I can't say. I'm sure this aqua spray thing's probably decent for like pure water and stuff, because it's probably just like a 12-volt pump. But it just makes you think, like, all these extra bits and bobs that they throw in, like the turbo nozzles, they're like the cheapest one you can get, and they won't last 5 minutes. And I can say that for a fact because I've used them. You'll go through 2 turbo nozzles every 6 months or so, whereas if you get a proper one, my turbo nozzles have lasted me, well, since I bought them. I haven't had to replace them for over a year now. I don't know. I think it's a lot of cheap stuff sort of mashed together, and none of it is really, I don't know. No one needs to be putting 1,000 litre IBC in the back of their little van, because you're not carrying that much water around with you. And it shows the lack of understanding that they've got when it comes to, this is supposed to be a buffer tank. A buffer tank for a little machine like that. I mean, what are we talking? What's the machine? Come on. What machine is it? It's like a 15 litre per minute machine, isn't it? Here we go. Come on, why can't I see it? Here we go. It's not jumping out a bit at all. Am I blind? 3,700 psi. How many litres per minute? It's got to be 15, isn't it? Am I blind? 14 horsepower. Oh my god. It doesn't matter. I can't be bothered. I mean, for a 15 or a 21 litre per minute machine, no one needs a 1,000 litre IBC. You're not going to drive around in your van with that filled to the brim. And you're never going to run out of water. If you were to plug that into the customer's water supply with it already filled up to the top, it'll never get below halfway filled. You only need, for like a small machine like that, you need, I mean, I've lasted with my 250 litre upright tank, and it's perfect for 98% of jobs that I've done. And I've got a 30 litre per minute machine. It's supposed to be a buffer tank. You're not supposed to fill up at your house and then go to the customer's property with a full tank. Like, this is not your only feed. This is not your only chunk of water. I think they forget that you're plugging into the waters to the customer's water supply. It just shows a lack of understanding. Like, you don't need a 21-inch surface cleaner on a 15 litre per minute machine. It's too big. Oh, you got me started, man. Let's stop looking at that website. Get worked up every time I look at it. Can you recommend a brick acid for removing cement off block paving? Any brick acid above, sort of, someone said stop wasting your time with 20% brick acid. You want something like 27% or 30%. I can't remember what it was, but I think brick acid is just brick acid. I wouldn't put too much thought into it. Most of them are marketed as driveway cleaners. You've just got to make sure they've got hydrochloric acid in them. That's the bit that you want. And that's the reason why I'm going for a cheaper option with the pressure washer. I really want to get an X-Jet alongside so I can make the treatments quicker and easier. Yeah, the X-Jet will definitely save you time on them bigger jobs. Oh, Steve says he buys the Equip to Clean gear. Some of it's decent. Their packages aren't worth the money. You can buy and build it separately much cheaper. There you go. And you'll leave out all the stuff that you just don't need. There's lots of bump in there that's bringing up the price. Like, who wants an Equip to Clean high-vis jacket or vest? What's the point? You want your logo on the back of it, not their logo? I don't understand. Oh, God, get me off that website. Christ. Motorshed, if you're trying to post a link, I won't be able to see it. It won't let you post a link. Liquid pack sodium hypochlorite. Yeah, it'll be fine, mate. It's just hypo. You'll want to get the liquid pack surfactant as well, because if you just put hypo down on its own, it's going to dissipate between the joints and it's going to evaporate really quickly. You need to add surfactant to help it foam up and to help it cling to the surface. If you're near Essex, Curbside has 100 barrels of hypo for sale. Really? Why has he got that many? Why would he have 100 barrels of hypo? Hello Ray, how you doing, mate? Are you able to explain under what circumstances you should be turning the unloader valve up or down? It really comes into its own when you've got a pressure gauge on the front of your machine, because then you can start using a set pressure for each individual surface. Say you're cleaning tarmac or block paving, and then you're going on to resin or render, and then you're going to clean some gutters. When you get a workflow and you can set that unloader valve and set that pressure from 250 bar down to 150 bar, or say you're cleaning some gutters, faces and soffits with a high pressure pole, and you can turn it down to like 100 bar or 75 bar to get that rinse, and it's working perfectly. You can set that next time to that exact pressure to save all that setup time and save all that testing, going back and forward, testing, and figuring out what's going to be best. You can get a workflow for each individual surface then. That's the power of being able to adjust your unloader valve along with having the pressure gauge to actually, because when you're adjusting the unloader valve and you don't have a pressure gauge, you've not got anything, you've not got any measure of actually how much pressure you're using. And you can do it as a combination of, if you want to use less water on the job, there's a couple of ways you can do it. You can turn the revs down on your machine, and you can turn the unloader down on your machine and reduce the pressure. Doing both of those things is going to affect the cleaning performance. However, if you want to maintain the cleaning performance but just put less water down, you can put a smaller nozzle on the end and adjust the unloader valve. I need to do a video on this because it's been knocking around in my head for a while. Say I'm going to call it big and small. Say I've got a big turbo nozzle with a wide orifice suited to my machine, so it's perfectly spec'd to my machine. I'm on full revs, unloader valve's turned all the way up to 200 bar or whatever. When I'm pulling the trigger, I'm using all the potential flow that my machine can give me. It's full cleaning power, all the water coming through, but then my buffer tank runs out, so I can't, so I've got to turn the machine off and wait for like 15-20 minutes for the buffer tank to fill back up. If I want to stop that from happening but still continue to clean, I can put a smaller turbo nozzle on with a smaller orifice, so it's pushing out less water, but I can still achieve 200 bar. So what will happen is, if I keep all the settings the same, when I take that big turbo nozzle off and put a smaller turbo nozzle on, and I pull the trigger, it's going to be going further past 200 bar. The pressure would have increased. It's going from probably 200 bar to maybe 225 bar. I haven't adjusted the unloader valve at all, but because I'm pushing the water through a smaller orifice, it's gone up. So what I'll do then is wind that unloader valve down so that it's coming back down to 200 bar. So I'm still achieving the exact same pressure. I'm just putting less water down onto the surface. And overall, that does affect the cleaning performance, but it means you can carry on cleaning using less water and your buffer tank's not going to keep running out. I don't know if I've explained that very well, but this is the importance, I think, of having not only a pressure gauge, but also different size nozzles in your van. And this happened naturally for me because I upgraded my machines. I went from a 12 litre per minute machine to a 15 litre per minute to a 30 litre per minute machine. So I still had all those nozzles from my old machines when I started using my 30 litre per minute machine. And I just sort of come across it by chance. It's not something, I mean, I'm sure Darren's probably explained this. Darren from PWS, I'm sure he's probably been through this in the past with people. But I noticed when I put that smaller turbo nozzle on, I was achieving a much higher bar, even though my pump is only rated for 200 bar. When you put smaller nozzles on it, it can go way past that. Whether that's good for the machine or not, I don't know, but which is why I turned it down to maintain that 200 bar. A. McIntosh, yeah, we've been talking about his training courses. Someone asked if I'd recommend any training courses, and these look great. I hope that answered your question, Ray. I use Liquipack heavy duty degreaser. It's really good. Mills, have you considered trying, instead of having to sort of order it online, have you considered trying the Screwfix no nonsense degreaser? Because I wonder how much of a difference there is between them. Something like this. Because this is the one I have used before I started using Synergy. There's not much between them, to be honest, but it's only $12.99 for 5 litres. Little bit of a bargain. Depends on your machine, I think. I don't use the unloader valve. I adjust the revs. Mine is portable. I'm sure Jake uses the valve on his van mounted. Yeah, the reason I use the unloader valve more than the revs is because I'm running my machine on idle. I'm running it at the lowest possible revs all the time. Because it's quite a big, beefy, powerful machine with a big pump attached to it, I don't need to be putting out 30 litres per minute all the time. So I turn the revs all the way down, and then I just change the pressure with the... I've got a needle valve, but it's virtually very similar to an unloader valve. You can buy Liquipack's sodium hypochlorite from B&Q. Really? Is it on the shelf, or do you have to like order it online? That's very convenient if you can get hypo from B&Q. I'll have to check my local one to see if they do it, because that'd be good. Like, that'll save me driving over to Bromsgrove. We've got a 1,000 litre IBC which we use on site, so that's different. Yeah, so if you're washing, if you're doing new build washing and you're doing brick acid and all that sort of stuff, and there's no water supply on site, that's where you'd use a 1,000 litre IBC. But most of us aren't doing that sort of thing. We're just doing residential properties. The extended lance I use for roof cleaning. It's okay, to be fair, as a starter, but yes, it's heavier. And it has more flex than one would like, but it does a good job. Yeah, I wouldn't say that is a roof cleaning lance. Those aluminium extendable lances, I don't think you can market those as a roof cleaning lance. I think they're good for things like cladding, gutters, fascias and soffits, low pressure stuff. When you turn the pressure up above 100, 150 bar, they're just wild. I suppose if you've got a surface cleaner on the end, it can sort of weigh it down a little bit so it's not as uncontrollable. I don't think you can market it as a roof cleaning lance, personally. It's not stiff enough, and they don't go long enough either. Maybe they do go long enough, but extended at full length, they're so flexible. I can't imagine you'd want to use it. Yes, you are blind. Thanks. The misunderstanding is you can run a 30 litre per minute machine off a 5 litre bucket if you can replace the water fast enough. Yeah, exactly, yeah. 100, 250 litres is ideal for a van as it gives you that extra run time. Yeah. It's in the big blue writing. Did I miss it completely? Sorry. Can you use a snow foam cannon for hypo? You'll struggle, just because the little snow foam bottles, the lid to pour the hypo into at the top is so small. It's like the lid of a Pepsi bottle or something, maybe a little bit bigger. But trying to go from like a 10 or a 20 litre hypo container into that, and hypo's dangerous stuff. You don't want to be spilling it all over your feet and all over your hands and stuff. I found myself I tried it. I had to clamp the bottle between my feet. I tried to put what are them things called? A funnel. I tried to put a funnel in the top, but because the bottle is so small and light, the funnel would just sort of drop out the top of it. And as soon as you start pouring the hypo, it's glugging and it's just going everywhere. And by the time you fill this little 1 or 2 litre bottle of hypo up, it's not going to last 5 minutes spraying it onto a driveway. And also, you probably have no idea what dilution ratio that's coming out as. Perfect for snow foam in a car, probably, because it doesn't really matter on a car. But when you're using maybe it does matter on a car. Most websites, I doubt on a foam cannon bottle, like a spray foam lance, I doubt most websites will tell you what dilution ratio it comes out as. I might be wrong. But also, a lot of these snow foam lances, all the fittings on them are like brass, or I mean, even stainless steel will corrode eventually with hypo running through it. But it will just oxidize or rust. It'll go all green, and as soon as you start running hypo through it, it'll just turn green. And they'll start to block up, and it'll fail very, very quickly. If you can get a big plastic snow foam lance where you can adjust the dilution ratio and it actually tells you what the ratio is, that would work. With a big mouth on it so you can actually fill it. Hope that answers your question, Marek. I'm going a bit long-winded tonight with all my answers, aren't I? Sorry. We don't use a tank for pressure washing generally. We did the other day. It was a disaster. It's just for water supply, for cleaning volume houses that don't have outside taps. Nobody needs one normally. Yeah. And they're setting people... I need to take my personal opinion out of this, but I think if you're selling someone 1,000 litre IBC who have just set up their business, chances are they haven't got a massive van. Chances are they've got one similar to this one here. 1,000 litre IBC is going to take up the majority of the van, and now you've got no room for any of your other equipment, and it's stuck in there. There's nothing you can do with it. You're just setting people up to fail, in my opinion. Absolutely shocking website. I'd avoid Equip to Clean like the plague, says James Davis. Not me. A small van would be overweight with a full 1,000 litre IBC. Yeah, and so if you can't fill it, what's the point in having it in the first place? You can fill it when it's stood still, but you don't need it. You don't need 1,000 litres of buffer. You need between, I'd say, 1 and 300 litres of buffer for most machines. Liquipack Surf is excellent. I received 2 lots of out-of-date hypo from them. Complained. They sent me free stuff. Still no good. Won't buy again. But I will buy their surf. I don't know what you're talking about there. You said the surf is... The surfactant is excellent, but the hypo's no good. Is that what you're saying? Anyone else had experience of buying surfactant or hypo from Amazon? Any recommendations as to which ones to go for? Jake, where did you get the black gloves from? Travis Perkins. It's about, let me show you. They're nitrile gloves. Black Mamba. Isn't that the name of something else as well? A naughty adult product. Black Mamba nitrile gloves. You get 100 in the box and it's 25 quid. They're pretty decent. Richard got some black rubbish gloves the other day and he kept poking holes through them, but he said these ones are a lot better. I've been using these for ages. I tried Screwfix. Liquipack is cheaper if you buy 4 or 5 litres. £26 with a code. What code do you use, Mills? Have you got a special code? Love a bargain. Why do you specifically want to shop at Amazon? PWSAS told me to leave the unloader set on max and just use the revs to control the pressure. This is if you don't have a needle valve. I mean, adjusting the revs will definitely adjust the pressure as well. You could, but if you... It depends. They've both got their place. I'm sure we could go really in depth with it, but it's going to be quite a boring conversation. Yeah, you can. I used to do that with my 15 litre per minute machine. I used to just turn the revs down. The unloader valve's quite stiff and awkward to use as well, I find sometimes. I think most of you will find that trying to adjust that unloader valve is quite difficult to do. So it is easier just to drop the revs. I can recommend both Liquipack Hypo and Surfactant. I use that currently as my main hypo. We definitely go direct to their site for the best offer. Yeah, who's got a discount code for Liquipack stuff? I've never understood why people use a surfactant rather than just using washing up liquid. Am I missing something? Yeah, not all washing up liquid is bleach safe. And mixing your own chemicals like that, if you don't know whether it's bleach safe or not, you could be poisoning yourself. Chloramine gas. Creating chloramine of gassing. You don't want to be around this. Yeah, you can make like mustard gas and stuff, which will kill you. Apparently. I'm not a chemist. Craig Price says, hi Jake, I'm just starting out, literally launched a week ago, and I've had my first inquiry about resealing a block paved driveway. Any advice for a starter? I'm nervous about using sealer and screwing up. I would personally, I know you're not going to want to hear this because you've just potentially landed your first job. I would avoid sealing until you've proved to yourself that you can get virtually perfect results by pressure washing, using chemicals, and resanding well, doing a high quality resand, not just leaving sand all over the drive, leaving weeds between the joints, leaving black spots in all the crevices. You need to show yourself through experience and through trial and error that you can achieve a high enough quality result where you're happy to seal that surface afterwards. Because when you're just starting out, there's going to be things that you don't know, and on your first driveway, if the first driveway you're ever going to clean with your pressure washer is also going to be the one you're going to seal, I wouldn't commit to sealing a driveway when I'm not sure what sort of result I'm going to get, because I'm brand new to it, you know what I mean? So maybe instead of committing to sealing it, just be honest with the customer and say, look, I've not long started. I wouldn't be comfortable sealing your driveway, having only just started up. I want to make sure I can do a good job with the pressure washing. Maybe I'll chemically treat it, and I want to make sure I can resand to a high standard. Because you're right, there's a lot that can go wrong when you're sealing any surface, and if you've got no experience with sealing as well, you're just putting a hell of a lot of pressure on yourself. And if you slip up in any stage of that whole process, you're going to get a bad result at the end, and you're going to wish you hadn't bothered. I know that's not what you want to hear, but that's just my honest opinion. I think anyone who's just got into pressure washing, you should pressure wash for about a year before you take on any sealing jobs. That's my personal opinion. Also, if you can, get yourself onto a training course. The training course from Pure Seal, I'm sure most of you already know about this, but the Moja One approved applicator course, little plug for them. This will tell you absolutely everything you need to know about cleaning, or preparing, cleaning, chemically treating, and sealing, and providing aftercare for every single ground surface. And then you get this book afterwards where you can refer back to it. And that was such a massive help, and that's given me all the foundations that I've got now, where I can confidently go and clean and seal any surface. So I think that's very valuable. It's not cheap, especially if you just started your business and you're looking at maybe more equipment rather than courses, but it's well worth it before you dive into sealing stuff, personally. You could get a siphon little pump to transfer from a big bottle to a small one. You could, but at the point where you've started spending all that money on siphoning stuff and all that effort, you might as well just buy an X-Jet or buy a gardener backpack or something. And by the way, if anyone's going to purchase anything from Pure Seal, I'd be very grateful if you'd use my link. Wait, what have I just done? Can I not do that? Linktree /smelt. Someone recommended I get a Linktree the other day. Look, I've got all my little links in one place now. So if anyone's considering purchasing anything, you can hit my link first. I'll get a little bit of kickback from that. There we go. So yeah, if you hit this Pure Seal link here and then buy something, I get a bit of commish. That'd be very nice of you, if you wouldn't mind. Trackers, welcome, mate. You've been it's been a while. Where have you been? Darren says, hi mate, my boy wants to start up jet washing. I'm going to get his jet wash. What would you recommend to get him set up? I've been looking, but there's so many options. Darren, what's your budget, mate? What's your startup? Basically, what's your budget for your machine? And then what's your overall budget for all of your equipment? Hi Hooper, how you doing, matey? I'm on the Liquid Pack website. Cannot see just the hypo. but I can see the black spot remover. Yeah, that's probably hypo. Sodium hypochlorite. There it is. Oh, come on. Sodium hypochlorite, 14 to 15%. So this is as strong as it gets. So this is absolutely fine to use. Oh, you can get the surfactant with it here as well, look. So 20 litres is $36.99. What's the delivery like on these? 10% off your order. If you sign up, you get 10% off your order. There you go. Are they saying that this Lance, this pressure sprayer, is suitable for hypo? Because not a lot of them are. It's got a metal lance. It just looks like the same one. It's actually identical to the Screwfix one. It's identical to the £15 Screwfix one. It's a little bit more expensive here. And I bet that doesn't have like Viton seals or anything. So really, I'd suggest that's not necessarily suitable for harsh chemicals, but hey ho. I wonder how much the delivery is. Oh, free delivery across the website. There we go. Free delivery, guys. There you go. Go get it. So I pay £27 for 25 litres of hypo, so I get it much cheaper than that. But if you're at a pinch and you've not got any local suppliers, go for it. It wasn't a patch on Pure Seal. Stevie, did you use the Pure Seal Hypo or did you use the Nuclear Pro or Nuclear Fallout Pro? $10 off liquid pack on your first order. There we go. Matt says 10 off. Doesn't seem to work for me. Is there something specific I need to add to the cart? They always do 10% off. I think you can get it on the first order. Oh, there you go. And then leave a review. Are you reading chat from another platform as well? No. Edge Exterior. I'm just quite far behind. So if you're looking at the new messages, I've not got down to them yet. I'm trying to hit everyone's responses and messages. So I'm a little bit behind. It says that they only deliver to business addresses. Do I need to worry about this? I'm sure it'll be fine. You just booked onto Module 1 for next month. Nice, Shane. Is the jet washing manual worth purchasing from Mike Packwood? I believe. I'm tempted, but I would prefer a hard copy book rather than magazine. I don't know who Mike Packwood is. I don't know who that is. I think I've heard the name. I don't know if it's any of these people. Not sure, mate. Sorry. GS Jet Washing, welcome, matey. Oh, Great North's on the course as well, potentially. Oh, yes. 19th of June. Thanks a lot for the advice, Jake. I'm definitely going to do the Pure Seal course. I've had inquiries every day since I launched, and I've got my first 2 paid jobs booked in next week. Nice, Craig. Well done. Can you share with us what your advertising strategy is? Because there's some people that have got in contact saying that they're a new pressure washing business and they're really struggling to get customers. If you've just started recently and you've already got inquiries every day since you've launched, maybe you're doing something that other people aren't doing. On the subject of sanding, I'm finding on some jobs, new sand is coming out of the joints after it's rained heavy. I've ended up going back to a few and tidying up. Am I using too much sand? How are you leaving the sand? Are you filling with like beveled block paving? Are you filling the joints up to the top of flush with the face of the blocks, or are you filling just the joints up to the bottom of the bevel? You might be either overfilling them, or if it's on a particularly sloped driveway or we've had some particularly heavy rain, it will pop back out the joints and you might have to go and brush some fresh stuff in. I've had it loads in the last 12 months when we've had that insane rain earlier in the year. There were a lot of jobs I had to go back to. Free overnight specialist delivery is in that price. Nice. Looking at up to 1,500 quid for the jet wash and 3 grand for the rest of the kit. That's a really solid budget. Let's have a think. So this is like some of the best highest quality equipment you can buy, and if it's something that you're if you're looking to get straight into it with like proper equipment, you won't need to upgrade if you buy something like this. This comes with plenty of hose, comes with the buffer tank, it comes with a high quality Q lance, a proper turbo nozzle, a proper rinse down nozzle, 15-degree fan jet as well. All the proper stuff on the pump. I think it's 15 litres per minute, maybe 250 bar. I know this is at like the upper end of your budget, but you won't necessarily need to buy anything else on top of this because it comes with the buffer tank. It comes with all the lances and the hose that you need. It's a very healthy budget. It's a Honda GX 390 with the interpump 15 litre per minute. I think when you're just starting, if it's out of your budget, I wouldn't necessarily bother with a flat surface cleaner just yet. That's a bit of a luxury at a later date. When you start, proving that you can pull in work and stuff, maybe you want to get through patios a little bit quicker, then maybe at that point get a flat surface cleaner. This is just the same kit with one of those roof cleaning lances. It's got an X-Jet and it's got a high pressure hose on a reel. What else can you get for similar money? Can you get an A2? GX 390, 21200, ready to work. 1700 plus VAT. Or you can get the electric start Vanguard for virtually the same money. Ideally, you want the turbo pack though. So again, we're going into around about the same sort of money. But this doesn't come with like the buffer tank and stuff. I'm sure you could build a buffer tank. It's the VAT that's always a killer, isn't it? It's like, if these were all inclusive as VAT, it'd be much more appealing prices. I've just purchased, well, I'm in the process of purchasing my new machine from these guys. Similar to all this, but it's got some specials on it, special bits and bobbies. Jamie says, hi Smelt, thanks for the great insightful content. I'm starting my own pressure washing business this month and I'm very excited. Congratulations, Jamie. Well done, mate. Never bothered upgrading any of the fixtures in the end. Oh, you're talking to Matt. I'm going on that course 19th of June, looking forward to it. Hopefully lots of knowledge. You'll be bombarded with information. But the good thing is you don't have to remember it all on the day because you get that book. I'm struggling to get inquiries. I've mostly just used local Facebook groups. I think they're underrated. Local community groups. So I'm based in Redditch. And then local to me, I've got like Inkborough. I've got a Web Heath community group, which is in Redditch. Ashford Bank, all local little villages or parts of my town that have got their own community Facebook groups. And as soon as you can get in with one of them and they allow advertising, you can post in there once a week. Just post some before and after pictures once a week, and just say I've been working in Web Heath this week. Feel free to get in touch if you need your gutters clearing or if you need your driveway cleaning. And I promise you, if you post that once a week on 3 or 4 different community pages, you will get work. Make sure they're good before and after pictures. It works every single time I post. I only do 1 or 2 sometimes. I actually haven't done it in ages because I'm getting inquiries regardless at the moment. But it's such an easy, free way of advertising. It takes a little bit of time to get onto the groups and to answer all the questions and to make sure you're sticking to the rules and stuff. But once you get past that first annoying bit, it's really easy. Just purchase the X-Jet, looking forward to it. Nice. Just make sure all your fittings are done up tightly. And make sure you're not drawing any air, because that's the main issue most people have when they're using the X-Jet. Is they start drawing air because something's loose. And that'll stop it foaming up. Turn your revs down. Make sure everything's tight. Make sure when you put the hose in your barrel, it doesn't turn upside down at the bottom of the barrel. So the filter's like pointing up. You want it the perfect length so the filter sits at the bottom of the barrel. Is there a standard oil to use for pressure washing machines? Does each machine have unique oil? That's a very good question, actually. I'm not the person to ask about oil, I'll be totally honest. I've not paid too much attention. This is a question that I ask to people like Darren or H2O or Pressure Washer Sales and Service. They know their stuff when it comes to that. I think you can use, when it comes to engine and pump oil, I think you can, both of those are the same, but your gearbox oil needs to be slightly different. I've mainly just been using Facebook. I have lots of local friends on there who have shared my posts, but I also started flyering last week and I've delivered around 400 in my local area so far. Do you know, you've had one quote from the flyers so far, everything else has been friends of friends. That was the main thing for me, is when my friends started sharing my work on Facebook, or my mum started sharing stuff, or my sister did, that gets put in front of all of their friends then. And so I had inquiries from friends of family or friends of friends. And that's really what got my business started. What should you do if a customer hasn't paid and isn't reading your messages? How long's it been, Holmes? How long since you did the work? Jake, did you just say you're purchasing a new system? I did. Upgrade video coming soon then, yeah. So I've just spec'd a machine from Pressure Washer Sales and Service. It will probably look a lot like this. But the image that I sent to them looks like this one. Let me find it. So this is what I wanted. After our conversation on stream the other week, I wanted one of these with the hose reel, 30 or 40 meter hose reel mounted on top. Because we were talking about it on stream, and someone mentioned, I can't remember who it was, someone said with Jakey starting with me soon, if you can get, instead of mounting the machine in the van next to my other one and having it hooked up to either my water tank or another water tank that's mounted in the van, instead of doing that, why don't you get like a wheelie bin buffer tank, so that you can take the machine out of the van, take the buffer tank out of the van, and I can leave him on a job. And not only will it give him a little bit more responsibility and independence when he's ready, obviously, the first bunch we're going to be doing it together, but this gives us the freedom for me to drive him to his first job, drop him off and set him up, while I go off and drive to another job if need be. I think most of the time we're going to get through jobs quicker if we do them both together, but if it's just a little job, I can just drop him off. Say I'm doing admin on a Monday, I've started doing admin on a Monday now. I can drive him to his job, set him up, come back home and do some admin. Or I can sit in the van and do some admin, or whatever, go and get a coffee or whatever. If it's mounted in the van, we've got a lot less freedom. So I've sent them this frame. I've said that I want a frame like this with the hose reel mounted on top. I want a 21 litre per minute, 200 bar Honda GX 390 electric start. So it's going to have the electric start, it's got the proper engine, it's going to have a proper pump on it. They're going to put all the nice fittings, I forgot which fittings he said, but they're the proper big boy ones. They're not the MTMs. What did he tell me they were? ST45. These ones. No, not that one. This one. So it's got the triple O-ring inside. And it's got the protective cover on the outside, which is good because I don't have that on my current one. I can already see the wear marks. Yeah, like full-size Teamer type couplings, yeah. So all of those. And then it comes with 40 meters on the reel. Another additional 20 meter high pressure hose reel, just high pressure hose that I can plug into it if I need to. And then let me just pull it up. It's easier to just pull up the message. and then a hose reel, a low pressure hose reel, like this one. With 25 meters of low pressure 3/4 inch hose. So it's going to be the proper hose as well that they use, which is not just a cheap 3/4 inch hose, it's a bloody good one. And I like this hose reel actually, the cart. I think I'm going to like this one much better than the one I've got at the moment. 25 meters, I didn't need a massive one because the fact that I can take the machine out of the van and move it around, get it closer to the water supply if I need to. I didn't need a massive hose reel, but I wanted a spare just in case I need to drop him off at a job. And he can just, everything he's going to set up himself basically. And then with that, it's going to be the buffer tank as well. So it's going to come with this bin with all the high flow float valve and all the proper fittings and the filter and the ball valve on the bottom and all that sort of stuff. Everything's going to be quick release. What else? What else did I ask for? So 21200 electric start, ST2600 trigger, 2 900mm lances. This is everything I've asked for. A turbo nozzle, fan nozzles, 40 meters of high pressure hose on a reel, 20 meters of high pressure hose extension, 25 meters of 3/4 inch low pressure hose on a reel, and then the buffer wheelie bin. And to top it all off, before they assemble it all for me, they're going to send the frame and the low pressure, that green low pressure hose reel, they're going to send them off to get them powder coated in orange for me, in KTM orange. And they've done it at a very reasonable price as well, so very, very excited. And they're also going to have it all turned around by the time Jakey starts with me as well. So literally the day he starts, we're going to go and pick up this new machine, and he's going to be ready to work straight away. He's going to be, that's the thing that I wanted, is I don't want him to feel a bit useless when we've only got one machine. It's pointless us just keep swapping over with the lance, one of us sweeping, one of us pressure washing and just taking it in turns. It just felt a bit pointless on the days that we've been together doing that. If I can have two machines on the go, maybe one of us washing, one of us rinsing, or two of us washing and rinsing at the same time, we get through these jobs so much quicker, because I've got experience now with working with Richard when he brings his machine along with me as well. We literally blast through these jobs so quickly. It's crazy. The one I did recently, or the one we did recently, I don't know if I've got a picture of it. It wasn't that one. No, I didn't take a picture of it. It was on my story, I think. But yeah, we cleaned like a pretty decent size, maybe like a 75 meter squared, maybe like a 60-70 meter squared block paved area. It would have taken like maybe 2.5 hours, just me on my own, to clean that sort of area. But we both did it in like less than an hour. We set up, got the water running, started cleaning straight away. One person with the flat surface cleaner and the other person with the turbo nozzle. And then we rinsed down at the end. We were in and out within an hour. I couldn't believe how quickly we got it done, just by having two machines. No worries, Darren. I know those machines that I just showed you are slightly out of your budget or out of your price range, but I think if you're at that point where you're willing to spend that sort of money, a couple of £100 extra, and you're going to get a machine that you'll never have to upgrade. You know what I mean? Be careful spamming Facebook groups. You can get banned if you do too much I know music promoters who have been banned for a year for what Facebook class as spamming. Really? Yeah, there's a lad on the Asper Bank group that he advertises his pressure washing almost every day. And I'm like, how have they not banned you yet? Oh, you paid for the course already? No worries, Jamie. Jake, I have a 15-meter extension from Darren. I use one of his amazing black strap loop thingy bobs for hanging it in the van. You can coil the 15 meters on the grass, which is manageable. 20 meters could be a test of patience. What black strap loopy thing? I'm interested now. You've caught my attention. I'm gonna go and make another coffee. If you guys have got any questions or anything you want to talk about, if you want, we can change the subject. We can go in any direction you want to go. If you've got something that's been bugging you for a while and you've been wanting to ask someone, I'm going to go and make a coffee. I'm going to have literally just like a 2 or 3 minute break to make a coffee, and then I'll come straight back up. I've got a few extra bits that I want to talk about. There's 60 people here now. Some of you must have something you want to chat about, or you want to get a bit of confirmation on. So the screen's gonna go black after this little advert that I play, but I am coming back in 2 or 3 minutes. All right, I'll be back in a sec. I'm just gonna. Now these videos take a lot of time and effort to film and edit, on top of trying to run a successful pressure washing business. If you find any of the information in my videos useful, then I'd like for you to consider becoming a paid member of the channel. Circle members and above will get access to my private Discord for members only, where you can pretty much get a hold of me 24 hours a day for inspiration, technical help, marketing advice, or just a general chat. I post pictures and videos that you won't see on any of my other socials. You'll be the first to hear about giveaways, special offers and announcements, and it's just generally a nice place full of like-minded people who are all heading towards similar goals. We've got various different experience levels. We've got a few professionals in the chat as well. If you want to push your business, in my opinion, this is the place to be. We also have 2 other membership tiers. One is just to show a bit of support for the channel, and the other one is for boosted members, which will not only give you access to the private Discord, but also loads of high quality promotional images for you to start your business. I know what it's like when you're ready to get going, but you don't have any before and after pictures to put on your leaflets. At the moment, there's about 150 images that you can use for pretty much whatever you like, and my intention is to constantly update these over the next few years with all of my before and afters that have helped promote my business. Last thing before I let you go, new videos come out every Monday night at 5:30, and then I go live at 7:30 to chat to you guys and answer as many questions as possible. We do live quotes for real customers and just generally keep up to date with everything going on in the pressure washing world. Thanks for watching, back to the video. Right, I'm back. Test. Test. Go, do you want to come say hi? Come here, girl. Come here. Good girl. Say hi to everyone. Say hello. You're smelly. Oh, you're dribbling. She's gone. Let's have a look. Can you use hypo in the Screwfix 5 litre sprayer? I do, but it won't last forever. You just got to understand that it's going to wear out all the seals and stuff. We lost 15 people. It's not surprising, really, is it? How do you get leads on commercial work? Do you get contacted? Do you have a method to make contact? Having a website opened up a lot of commercial work, but I'd say personally, in my opinion, if you've just started, I know you haven't, trackers, but oh, it's Matt, isn't it? If you've only just started your business, I would suggest that a website isn't really your first. It shouldn't really be your first priority, because it costs money, and it's upkeep and maintenance, and you probably don't have the content to post on there to make it look as impressive as you'd like. I only got a website in the last 8 months, I think, because I was more geared towards commercial work now, because I think if you've only just started as well, you're potentially not going to have the level of equipment that would allow you to actually do that commercial work that comes in. But I did find that having a website, being able to send out emails and then link my website in the email to say, you know, have a look at my previous work or the other services that I offer, that did leverage, you know, it did allow me to get to land, or to get more commercial interest anyway. Oh, these are the little straps, look. Those are cool. That's a really good idea. I could do with some of those. You say Darren supplies those? Yeah, I could definitely use some of those. How do I get a quick release on the bottom of my lance so I can change from a washdown nozzle to a 25 degree nozzle without having to unscrew it each time? So presumably you've got a fixed lance. So what you'd need is a 1/4 inch quick release coupling. Something like that. Oh, come on. So instead of screwing your... Oh my god, I've got a biscuit caught in my throat. A whole biscuit. There we go. AC pressure washers sell them. So instead of screwing your nozzle onto the end of your lance, you'll screw that onto the end of your lance with some PTFE tape, and then you'll need to buy the quick release nozzles as well. Presumably you've got 1/4 inch screw nozzles. You can also get, if you wanted to, Rutland Pumps do a J-rod. So presumably you've got these, or something similar to that, that sort of screw onto the end of your lance. I don't know. But look, Rutland Pumps do these, where you can just quick release that onto the end of your lance, and it's got all the different jets that you need. So I'd spec mine with, 0 degree, 15, 25, 40, and I'd just do 080 on all of them. Or actually mine would require a 090, I think, at 30 litres per minute. But that could be useful for you. Decent chunk of money, but I think that would be... I need to get one of these, really. Good little purchase, that is. Thanks, Matt. Letting everyone know I've just gone for a break. What do you do with the waste from roofs, etc. when cleaning, when the customer doesn't want to leave it at the property? They don't have a choice with me. That's part of the quote. When I send them the price, I stipulate underneath, waste will either be bagged up and left with you, or it could be ideal for a compost pile, garden waste bin, plant borders. There's always somewhere for them to put it. They just, unless you sort of give them those little ideas, they always think, well, I don't want to keep hold of it, but I don't have a compost pile, or I haven't got a garden waste bin. But there's always a bush or a hedge line that you can just sprinkle it out underneath. It's not bad stuff. It's all decent stuff that will degrade, and as long as it's not full of chemicals and stuff, you're fine. But I'm not interested in taking waste away with me at all. I don't want to fill my van with wet moss and then have to go and pay to dispose of it. It's just too much effort for me. That's never been an issue for any of my customers. And all the ones that have got like a small garden with artificial grass, no garden waste bin or anything, they're always perfectly happy for me to just bag it up for them. As long as it's bagged up and it's not dripping everywhere and filthy, they'll just put it in their booth and take it to the tip themselves. I can't take it to the tip. I have to pay to get rid of it because I'm a commercial business. Is there a 5 litre sprayer that can handle hypo? I mean, for the price, for 15 quid, I'd get the screw fixer one. The only thing I'd say is, because of the spray pattern, the nozzle pattern, it's more of a mist. It's either a mist or it's a pencil jet. When you adjust that nozzle on the end, it's hard to get the balance. And when you're putting hypo down, you don't want to mist it on because it'll evaporate too quickly. And even when you put surfactant in it, through one of those spray lances or one of those spray bottles, it doesn't foam on the surface, even if it's got surfactant in it, just because of the way it's being put down. I would recommend, if you can, get yourself a gardener backpack or something similar, a 12 volt backpack. Oh, of course it's out of stock. It's always out of stock. But I spray hypo and biocide. I used to spray hypo through this. I don't anymore. I just do biocide. Actually, it's probably better showing you on here. I did it recently on this decking job. Why is every advert on YouTube got people with in their underwear or something? Constant theme on this live stream. Great. I don't want to see someone's... I think this happened last time. I don't want to see his pubes. Does anyone get results from door knocking to get jobs? I'm thinking people will tell you to bugger off. I had a discussion with Richard about knocking doors because he was actually going round and oh, I'm not even on the right bit. Yeah, I am. He was actually going round and knocking on people's doors and speaking to them rather than just putting the flyer through their letterbox, which I find really awkward. I don't think I can do that. But he's like a natural salesman. He's really good at it. So this is how I do it. It's got two 50-degree fan jets. So it's spreading that chemical out. And it's sort of foaming as it hits the surface. This is foaming a lot more because it's biocide. So biocide is naturally super foamy compared to just hypo with surfactant in it. But now I've got a chemical resistant pump in this gardener backpack as well, so that's even better. It's going to last even longer. I've had more jobs come from people walking past while I'm working and asking for a price. Today it happened whilst I was on a job that the customer stopped me last week. Really? Yeah, if you've got it's good if you've got all your van sign written as well. I haven't got mine done yet because I was just waiting to make sure that the engine warning light isn't catastrophic. I didn't really want to spend any more money on the van if it was going to explode, but I think it's fine. What amount of hose would you recommend as a minimum length? For high pressure or low pressure hose, normally Saxon. IK make hypo-safe pump up sprayers, but they're about 80 quid. IK? What's IK? Oh yeah? I've never seen these. Looks quite impressive. Looks like a nice pump. Where's the description? No description. Oh. Maximum strength and versatility with the most aggressive chemicals, particularly resistant to acids. There you go. What a great recommendation. XTX. That was brilliant. Never seen these before. So presumably that'll just last forever. You won't have to keep replacing seals or replacing the pump altogether. And it's 8 litres as well. Or Pro 12, is that slightly bigger? Pro 12, does that mean it's a 12 litre pump? What's it say on the side? Oh no, it goes up to 8 I think by the looks of it. That looks like a good one. I've not looked on this website before. Oh, I've been looking for where you can buy one of these little bolt-on quick release surface cleaners. There's a few little jobs where I'd like to have used one of these instead of having to get the big surface cleaner out. You know, just little patios and stuff. Do you think 14 inches is too big for like a roof cleaning one as well? Here's a foam cannon. MTM Hydro. That's interesting. As for snow foam, probably not suitable for hypo and stuff. The Ultimate Honda Petrol Pressure Washer Bundle. This looks cheap. What the hell? 14 litre per minute. Oh, it's a GX 200, so it's not 390. 20 metre high pressure hose. Comes with a 20-inch whirl away. Ball valve. Looks alright, to be fair. It's the smaller engine. 150 bar, 14 litres per minute. Yeah, probably not recommended then. You certainly wouldn't be running a 20-inch surface cleaner with that. Yeah, nah. Yeah, nah. That's a good price for a whirl away. Darren sells the straps, but not on his website. Evening, Andy. How you doing, mate? Cheers, mate. Just had the Alpha PB cold water van mount system fitted in the van. Nice, Jamie. That's amazing. What a brilliant, brilliant upgrade. In a way, builders leave the waste on site. They just organise the skip. Yeah, true. Yeah, I mean, I've done that on some of the commercial quotes that I've done, or big residential quotes. I've suggested I can get a small skip for the waste. I've 2 buckets in my van of muck from a job today. He had all fancy artificial grass. Forgot to mention it before, so I had to take it away with me rather than upset the customer. Yeah, that was probably the right thing to do. Yeah, if you forgot to mention it before. Lindsay, thanks, mate. See you next time. It's okay for adverts to be naked on YouTube, but when I do it, it's weird. And I'm calling the police. You're scaring my wife. Normally, you want a high pressure. You want to know how long your high pressure hose should be. Sorry, mate. Do you have a machine that's mounted in your van, or are you taking the machine around the property with you? Are you taking it out of the van and walking it to wherever you're cleaning? Or is it static mounted in the van? I think if it's mounted in the van, you probably want roughly 40 meters on the reel, and then maybe another 10 or 20 meter extension. I use 40 meters on the reel with a 10 meter extension, and it works perfectly for all the jobs that I've had to do. Some of them have cut it very, very fine, but I've always managed. If you're moving the machine around the property with you, I don't think you necessarily need any more than about 20 meters. If you can get best of both worlds and have one of these machines with the reel mounted on top, so you're going to take it out and move it around the property with you, I'd say 30 or 40 meters is absolutely plenty. There was a backpack version. Yeah, that's one of those pump backpacks though, isn't there? I wouldn't be wearing a backpack full of chemicals on my back personally. I think it's crazy that people do that. Imagine a backpack full of hypo 5:1 and it starts leaking down your back. I've seen some horror stories. But this is one of the ones where you hand pump it. I think if you're going to get a big chunky one like this, you're probably better off with something that's got a 12 volt pump in the bottom. You want the one that says alkali. XTX, are you still talking about the pump? Normie says, what additional services would you recommend for a new business that doesn't just want to start up with pressure washing drives, and what equipment is needed for them? I'd say a water-fed pole would open up a lot of opportunities for you. So I bought the Gardener backpack, which is again just a 12-volt pump, but with that I also bought a 22-foot telescopic water-fed pole, and this meant that I could do so much. I could apply the hypo or the biocide with the Gardener backpack and this. I can then start washing gutters, fascias, soffits. I could do window cleaning if I wanted to with this pole. I could then start washing conservatory roofs, solar panels, all sorts of PVC. This tool, this brush, and that backpack combination opened up a whole new world of cleaning opportunities for my business. It's all low pressure stuff. If you wanted something like high pressure, a pole like this is going to cost you a hell of a lot more, because it needs to be more sturdy. It's, probably carbon fiber, a little bit thicker, a little bit longer, and you've got all the high pressure equipment that attaches to it and feeds through it. But you only need a high pressure water fed extendable pole if you're going to be doing things like roof cleaning or high pressure cladding cleaning and that sort of stuff. But this, you can soft wash render, you can soft wash cladding. There's all sorts of stuff you can do with one of these. And 22 foot will get you to the very top of a 2-story gutter or whatever you need. 22 foot's more than you probably expect. It's one of the shorter poles that they do on the website, but it was plenty for what I needed. Yeah, you can do solar panel cleaning, you can do all sorts with that. That would be my next purchase, personally. I think that was my next purchase after my pressure washer. PWSAS do the 14-inch whirl away, do they? Look at the ECA bundles, they seem to have good prices for starter kits. Yeah, I just had a quick look. They have a $3.90 on the drop down. Oh, it was a drop down. Sorry, I totally missed that. I didn't realise that was a drop down menu. I'm an idiot. So let's spec a 390, 200 bar, 21 litre per minute with 20 metres of hose. Is that plus VAT or is that including VAT? Doesn't say. What's the difference with a 15 litre per minute? 159, 239. Less than 100 quid. So without the flat surface cleaner. Oh, you can spec to have the return to tank. Not sure what sort of pump that is. As an interpump. Quick release kit. So you can get it for 1800 quid. Does that come with a lance and stuff? Would you need the quick release kit? Stainless steel quick release, high pressure hose, trigger gun, 900mm lance, nozzle set, turbo, chemical nozzle, quick release chemical nozzle. What's that? Is that just the black one? H2O restorations use the black nozzle for rinsing down. I think it's quite like a high flow low pressure nozzle. It just puts like a lot of water down on the surface. It's really good for rinsing. You put the link in the Discord. Oh, this one. £81.50. A variety of chemicals for the cleaning and disinfection industry. Alkaline substances, alcohols, acetones. That looks good. Is it the same size? What's a good starting ratio for hypo? 5:1. Yeah. 5 parts water, 1 part hypo. The BE 14-inch one did or still does come with something needing tweaking before use. I've seen it on a video YouTube where Rutland said they're upgrading theirs before sending them out. Is it something to do with the bearings? I think Ben was speaking to me about that. He used to, Ben's original business from Rutland Pumps, he used to service whirlaways. Do you charge different for gutter face your soffit clean if you pressure wash it or backpack water fed pole it? No, it's the same service. The customer's receiving the same service. It doesn't really matter. I'm charging around about £45 per side for the cleaning, the PVC cleaning. Starting to lose my voice. So about £40 per side to vacuum the gutters. And then about £45 per side to wash all the gutters, faces and soffits. With 2 people, you absolutely blast through it. We did one so quick, me and Rich, the other day. One of us on the high pressure lance, on the extendable high pressure lance, rinsing, like getting the first layer of dirt off. One of us agitating the chemicals in, and then the other person just doing a final rinse down. It's so quick. You hate brushing things at 25 foot. Yeah, when it's fully extended, it can be... If you've got like one of the cheaper ones, like I've got, all that flex and all that whip in the water-fed pole while you're brushing is all wasted energy. The stiffer that pole, the more accurate you can be with your movements. As soon as there's any flex introduced, you're wasting energy, and it's going to affect your back, it's going to affect your arms, your shoulders, your neck. Doing that job on its own anyway, looking up all the time with your hands above your head for more than 15-20 minutes, it's going to start really hurting. So if you can do everything you can to make sure you've got the lightest, stiffest pole, it's going to serve you in the long run, if this is work you're going to be doing for a long time. How'd you go about quoting repointing? Just been watching your recent video. Oh god, I'm struggling. I'm starting to, depending on the size of the joints, I'm literally just measuring the area and just charging between £12 and £15 per square metre. You can also have a look on the joint it calculator. 30mm maybe. Joint depth 25mm. And then you can calculate how much material you're going to need. Joint it simple calculator. But otherwise, you can just use my quoting tool and just type in your square meterage and then just times it by 12 to £15, and just see what sort of price it comes out as, and just make sure that's covering your materials, make sure it's covering your labour, and just, you know, your grinding discs, all that sort of stuff. Play around with this number, and once you've done a few, you'll find your price point then. And I think it will differ slightly with the type of slab and the width of the joints. It's not as easy as just measuring and charging a set price per square metre, because every patio is going to be slightly different. They're all going to have their different challenges. GVS 45 for solar panels, 540 quid. There you go. Using the gardener backpack and CLX22, do you need any attachments to hook up the pole to the sprayer? No, you can spec it with so the 22. I went for the quick lock angle adapter, medium soft brush initially, and then I bought a few other brushes since then, but I still like the medium soft. 250-degree fan jets. I had the All Seasons PVC hose, which I prefer over the more expensive Ultraflex hose. Don't like the Ultraflex hose. It's too flexible. It's too plasticky. And it curls up and it stays in its circular position. Even when you've pulled it out to its full length, it's like really rubbery and horrible. The PVC hose is much more manageable and like a little bit heavier, but like looser. And tends to curl up a little bit less. And then the connector, I go for the anti-snag hose lock male plug, and that allows you to plug straight into the gardener backpack. Basically, you want the anti-snag plug, which is that one, I think. So that plugs into the All Seasons hose, and then the Kleber Aquastop female is the one that goes onto the gardener backpack, and they just plug straight into each other. And it means, because you've got this anti-snag plug, it means you can then also plug into the customer's water supply. If you had like a weird fitting on here on the end of your water fed pole, you wouldn't be able to plug into the customer's water supply. So that's the two that I went for. Tracy, you're back. I thought you went. Tax included, shipping calculated, it says. Oh, okay. Reckon a gutter vac would be worth a purchase for a start as well. Not right now. I'd suggest waiting until September, October to purchase a gutter vac. Use the summer to focus on the pressure washing, because that's going to be the majority of the work that's coming in. Gutter season is after September all the way up until like March. It's going to be like peak gutter season. So I'd invest, if you're looking at buying equipment, I'd invest in pressure washing for the summer, and then all that money that you earn over the summer, you should have some savings to put some money into some gutter clearing equipment, because it's not cheap, you know. Gutter cleaning kit from Gutter Vacuum Systems, I'd recommend for any new business. If you're just aiming at residential work, I'd recommend going for the Panther. I personally not really interested in the carbon fibre poles, so I'd go for the Panther with the aluminium poles. keep the cost down. Maybe go for the, I mean, I went for all the poles just to make sure I had enough. So you're looking at 719 quid, including that, for the vacuum and the poles. And all the little nozzles that come with it as well. So to make that sort of purchase, when the type of work isn't really in season at the moment, I mean, I'm still doing gutter work, but I think that's because I'm a little bit more established potentially. If you've not got any before and after pictures, people don't know you're offering gutters as a service. You've not got regular customers. You're probably going to struggle to get gutter work this time of year. Potentially. What do I know? You know. Which do you prefer on PVC, brush and pole or pressure wash? I use both now because there's going to be two of us going forward. It's a luxury, like being able to have that extendable high pressure pole is an absolute luxury, and it does speed up the process slightly. But you've still got to brush on the chemicals and agitate the chemicals. There's no quick way of doing those gutters, faces and soffits really. You've still got to agitate the chemicals. So if you can, do both. If you don't have the luxury of having a high pressure extendable lance, then just brush the chemicals on, agitate it all, allow to dwell. In this heat, probably 3 minutes. Normal temperature, up to 5-6 minutes. And then you can just hook up to the customer's outside tap and then just rinse down with your water fed pole and your brush. You don't need to agitate and rinse if you don't want to. You can just rinse it all off. The other benefit of having a high pressure pole for the cleaning and the rinsing is that you can get into all those little brackets that you'd normally have to turn the brush and really try and brush into both sides of those brackets. Pressure washing them on a low pressure is so much easier to get into all those little brackets and nooks and crannies and stuff. Miles easier. So it does save time, but like I say, it's a luxury. You don't want to be spending 760 quid on a high pressure pole just to clean gutters, faces and soffits, because if I weren't doing the odd roof cleaning here and there, I wouldn't need one of those high pressure poles. I wouldn't have bought one, but it's because I'm doing roof cleaning as well. So £85 per side to clean and clear. Yeah. Outside of the obvious, like pressure washer with lance and hose, what are all the extra pieces of kit you'd consider essential for the job? For pressure washing, if you're going to get anything over around about 11 or 12 litres per minute, you're going to want a buffer tank. So you're gonna want something like a wheelie bin to make up the difference. So if the customer's got low water pressure on their tap, you're going to be starving your pressure washer of water. It's not going to be fed enough water. So this sits in between basically. This constantly fills, and you start filling this when you get on site, before you started setting up, and then when it's full, you start pressure washing, and it maintains itself because the customer's water supply is constantly filling it up. When it gets to the top, the little cut-off valve stops the flow, and then it gives you all this water to burn through. So you're not starving your pump. So I think that's essential. Anything over 11-12 litres per minute, you're going to need one of them. Otherwise, you'll want a broom. I've got the I've got the like bulldozer brush. Where is it? This is the one I've got from B&Q. Oh, you'll have to excuse me, I'm struggling a bit at the moment. And then you can also get the Screwfix 50-litre rubble sacks for the waste. So these polypropylene, woven polypropylene rubble sacks mean that you can put all your wet sand and moss and whatever you get out from between the joints on block paving and whatever. You can scoop that into these bags. All the water will drain out the bottom of the bag and you'll be left with a dry bag of dirt. So that helps manage like leaving it with the customer and if you need to take it in your van or whatever, a little bit easier when it's not wet. So the broom, I forgot to say, the broom I use for scooping up the muck and resanding when the block paving's dry. You'll also need a heavy duty dustpan and brush. What else? Could anyone think of anything else if you're going to offer pressure washing as a service other than the machine, the hoses, the buffer tank, the sacks, the brooms? Is there anything else you need? No worries, no worries. Water-fed pole sprayer for £35 or an 8mm hose pipe connector. Then any garden hose sprayer, cable tied to the water-fed pole. Ooh. Hey, that's a good idea. So instead of having an electric 12-volt pump sprayer, connect it to an actual pump sprayer with your water-fed pole. Not a bad idea. Might be quite clumsy. Trying to hold the pole in one hand while you're pumping down at you. I don't know about that one. I'm still getting at least 2 gutter cleans a week. External like PVC washes or clears like vacuums? I am too. I'm doing quite a lot of gutter work still, but I think as a new business, it's not really the season, I'd argue. The Panther Gutter Vac is what I was looking at, but it's good to know I should just save the money and get it later. I mean, that's what I'd recommend, but feel free to get other opinions. I'm not a professional. These are just my experiences. Looking to buy a 40-meter hose. Do you have any recommendations, please? Clean Crew. Low pressure hose or high pressure hose? High pressure, I'd go for something like the one from PWS. Alpha HP twin wire 40-meter hose, 150 quid plus VAT. Low pressure, we found a website recently called waterirrigation.com.co.uk, and they do. I've not really tried any products from this site, I don't think. But they do this. It's orange as well. I kind of want some of this stuff, but I don't think it's going to be amazing hose. But it's low pressure stuff. You'll probably want 3/4 inch, 19mm 3/4 inch instead of the 13mm 1/2 inch hose. This looks quite good, this stuff. Anti-kink, apparently. I don't know if they do 40 meters of this stuff. I think it's either 25 or 50. But they've got all sorts of different choices on here. It's not just the Smart Flex stuff. They've got all sorts of different hoses. I think this is potentially quite a decent website, and I know some suppliers that get their stuff from here as well. And then they sort of sell it to you for a little bit more money. All sorts of stuff. I like the Hydro Shore. They've got some black hose, heavy duty, anti-kink. I was quite interested in this stuff. This looks quite good, doesn't it? The only thing is it's black, and I think if you're running low pressure hose, you probably want a high vis one, like a bright yellow one or something. Speaking of which, I need to get some sort of wet floor sign or something. So that website is waterirrigation.co.uk. Hope that answers your question. So they were doing banana ones at the show. I should get one of these. I missed the boat on that one. They all sold by the time I got there. Oh, they sell them on Amazon. Do you still have to go up and down, up ladders for downpipes? I still like to go up there and check most of the time, unless I'm fairly confident that that part of the gutter is pretty empty anyway. I don't check them all. But if I am getting up the ladder, I always get up on the downpipe side so that I can have a good look in there. A lot of the time you can't guarantee. That's the other thing. If you're cleaning gutters, you're going to need to get yourself a ladder as well. You can't guarantee that if there's growth inside that gutter and you suck the top of it out with the gutter vacuum, you can't guarantee that the bend, there's the, what's it called, like a Z bend or something. You can't guarantee that that's clear unless you get up there and take it apart, in my opinion. If there's ever growth coming out of a gutter like that, I'm always up there taking that downpipe apart. Or the other thing you can do is drop the nozzle of the vacuum inside the downpipe and then go and listen underneath. Go and listen at the bottom of the downpipe to see if you can hear the air coming through. If you don't hear the air, it's probably blocked. The other thing you can do is get a leaf and put it in the bottom of the downpipe and see if it gets sucked up. What chemicals for gutters? You could either go Synergy Pro from Pure Seal or any TFR. Already have the pole, just looking at converting it. Can piece all the bits together for around 130 quid. Yeah. What if there's a loose soffit board when washing with the high pressure hose? I'm never washing. The soffits are quite often loose. They quite often wobble around, and so when I was cleaning with Rich the other day, I said you can get pretty close on the gutters, you can get pretty close on the fascias, but don't go near the soffits because they're only held in with some silicone most of the time. So I'll brush the soffits with the water-fed pole, and then if you can just bring it back slightly and just do like a light rinse on the soffits, that's all they need. While you're struggling, I'm losing my voice. We've been a bit ill these last few days. I was ill all last week. Headaches, runny nose, coughing, sneezing. I'm just getting over it now, but I haven't spoken for this long, and so I'm starting to lose my voice a little bit. Sophie's just got tonight, or last night, just got what I had all week, and so she's now not feeling good, so she's taking the next 2 days off work, try and recover. You definitely need a cup of tea before you start. In my area, idiots are charging £30 a side to clean and clear. That's so cheap to do both services. Looking to buy a 40 to 50 meter hose. Do you have any recommendations, please? I think we've just been through that, mate. Hopefully you caught it. Oh yeah, you could do a ball valve if you don't have any sort of quick release or Q fittings on your triggers when you buy your pressure washer. Yeah, get yourself a ball valve so that you don't have to keep turning off the machine. So if you want to swap over from like your trigger or your lance to maybe a surface cleaner or something without walking back and turning off your machine, you can just turn this ball valve off. These ball valves are also good if you put them on like a quarter or halfway. They're really good for rinsing down as well. They do tend to the O-rings do tend to fail, so you might find yourself replacing O-rings after a couple of months. And also they can start to get quite stiff. But the more you use them, the stiffer they start to get. What's the best power washer for a low budget starter? What's your budget? How low are we talking? Valentin? Welcome to the stream. Looking for recommendations on a van to purchase. What does everyone use? I need a ULEZ exempt van, so Euro 6 or any petrol options. I don't know anything about vans, so you'll have, yeah, hopefully someone else can help you in the chat there, Cameron. People wanting to get the outside of their house summer ready. Yeah, you're right. You are right. I'd recommend anyone new not to overlook the value or importance of hose reels. Yeah, like a proper hose reel. And they might seem expensive because they are. I mean, a good hose reel is very expensive, high pressure and low pressure. But I got a cheap one and it's crap. I don't recommend it at all, but oh, this is the kit that you're going to use to convert your chemical application nozzle. Don't really understand how you use that. I don't get it. Garden hose sprayer on a water-fed pole with a big boy / gardener backpack. Would you say there's more money in cleaning gutters than pressure washing? I was talking to Rich about this the other day. Gutter clearing is an absolutely vital service through the winter because pressure washing totally dies off after about September time. Unless you've got commercial work booked in. Gutter clearing, although the ticket price is lower and it's arguably potentially more physical labour, it's vital that you can offer a service like that to keep you going through the winter. So I don't really have a choice. Regardless of how much money there is, it's something I had to do. I mean, on the average house, I'm earning 80 to £100 maybe to clear the gutters, and if I can do 4 or 5 of those a day, it's a really good day. You know what I mean? But a hell of a lot of work. But if you've got 2 of you, you can blast through them a bit quicker. Have you got the new guy on board yet? No, he's starting on the 11th or 12th, I think. I've just got my third job confirmed, Jake. 3 out of 4 quotes accepted in the first 8 days. Got a couple more to do this week. Thanks for your insight. Couldn't have done this without your channel. Oh, that's awesome, mate. Craig, thank you so much for saying that. That's really kind. I'm really glad it's, you've got off to a good start. Hopefully there's more to come. Hooper. Thank you so much, Hooper, for becoming a member. Thank you, mate. What do you think of the Screwface Titan electric backpack sprayer? Do you mean Screwfix? Let's have a look. Tough, highly solvent resistant seals. Battery power. Oh, it comes with the battery. And like a proper charger as well. It looks like a sort of drill battery, so presumably if you've got any other Titan products, that battery will be the same, which is cool. Is that see-through? I know it's got the measurements on the side, but it just looks grey to me. That doesn't actually look see-through, but... Nice that it comes with a lance. Can that be unscrewed so that you could fit it to like a water-fed pole? Probably. Can you see through that? I can't tell. That looks decent. And I bet you could run hypo and biocide and all sorts through it. And then just replace it. Let's see the tech spec. Mm, 1.4 litres per minute. Not ideal. The Gardener backpack is 2.4 litres per minute. The DA components upgraded pump is 3.8 litres per minute, or 3.6. So that is quite low. 4.5 bar, is that around about 60 psi? .65 psi. It comes with a cone nozzle, a dual nozzle, a shower and a fan nozzle. I mean, it looks quite versatile. Doesn't look too bad. It's not see-through. Just buy a Gardener backpack. They're not in stock. You can't really get them anywhere. And Screwfix, if this goes wrong or if it fails, it's just down the road in town and you just go and get it replaced under warranty. Brilliant purchase so far. Cheap but has issues. Excellent price, very handy. Temperamental the first time. The battery stopped working, so it was returned. Cheap is not always best. Surprisingly good. I wonder if they do like a bigger, more powerful one. This could be a nice little alternative for a Gardener backpack. No, they don't do a bigger one by the looks of it. When you going to power wash my backyard? I need to order some bleach-proof clothing for myself and Jakey. It's going to be an expensive month. I'm going to have to pay Jake's wages for the first time ever. I'm going to have to buy his uniform. I'm going to be dropping a couple of grand, more than a couple of grand, on all this equipment for him. It's going to be an expensive month, but I think he's going to pay for himself very quickly, hopefully. I think I'm going to call it there, guys. I think I'm going to go to bed. Been a bit rough. Thank you all so much for watching. Can I ask, how are you going to pay Jakey, per hour or per job? I was thinking originally it was going to be per day. I was going to give him just like a day rate. But the issue is, some of my days are 9 till 2. Some of my days are 8 till 4, 8 till 5. I don't like working longer days like that, but sometimes it's like a needs must sort of thing. But if I can, I like to finish early, get everything set up, start the machine at 9 o'clock, try and be home by like 2:30, 3 o'clock most days. So because there's such a discrepancy in the length of the day, I'm thinking less about getting value out of him. But if I'm going to pay him a set amount per day, and then we have like a particularly long day, I'd be feeling bad, and I'll pay you an extra 20, 30 quid for today. But I don't want to keep having to do that, because it sort of sets a precedent. So I think instead, if I just give him an hourly rate, and I'm going to give him a minimum contract of 30 hours per week, and then so I can guarantee him an income, which I think is the noble thing to do. I don't just want to put him on a 0-hour contract and then him wondering whether he's actually going to get enough hours this week to pay his bills or whatever he needs to do. Not that I think he has many bills, because he's got not many responsibilities at the moment, but I think giving him an hourly rate with a minimum contract gives him a bit of security. I think he'll probably want more hours anyway, so there's probably going to be plenty of work for him. I mean, across 5 days, if I'm doing an average of 6 or 7 hours a day, it's like upwards of 30 hours a week easily. So, and it gives us the freedom then on those big commercial jobs that could take the best part of a week, and they're miles away. We can set off early, and I think that's going to be the way to go. Might get the Titan for weed killing. Yes, it looks like a good purchase, to be fair. Good stream as always. Thank you, Hooper. I had someone working with me. It was a really slow day. What do you mean? Chemical clothing. Where from? My local. It's called Orchard Clothing, and it's like 100% polyester, I think. Can't remember. Thanks for the advice. Take it easy. Catch you next week. No worries, mate. Thanks for watching, Darren. You had to talk them through everything. Yeah, that's how it starts, though, isn't it? You got to train them up. Cheers, mate. Really appreciate the advice. Your channel seems like a godsend for anybody new in the pre-business research stage. Thanks, Normie. I'm doing my best, mate. I'm here every Monday night. I'm trying to put out a video at least once a week as well. Sometimes it's not possible, but I do try. Yeah, the whole channel is aimed at people sort of just starting out and stuff. So instead of just having like all the satisfying content and trying to get all the views possible, which I could angle the channel towards, that's not really the goal of the channel, and that's not why I really started it. There's plenty of YouTube channels where you can go and watch satisfying content, but I like to dig a little bit deeper into the technical side of stuff, so hopefully people enjoy it. I think they do. What are you thinking per hour? I'm looking at hiring someone. He's not going to be self-employed now because he's going to be working exclusively for me. There's something called the 6 badges of honor, the 6 badges of employment, which my accountant told me about, and it's like a tick box exercise. Like, do they work exclusively for you? Yes. Do they wear your uniform? Yes. Do they use your equipment? Yes. Like all those tick boxes, if they answer yes to all of those, it means you need to employ them. I'm thinking at the beginning it's going to be around about £12.15 per hour, because then that works out. I mean, that's still a good rate for an 18-year-old at the moment, unskilled labour. £12.15 on a 7-hour day, it's about £85 a day. 12.15 times 30 hours a week is about 365 quid a week before tax. So I think that's about right. As a beginner, I want to pay him much more very quickly. The more he starts to learn, the more he can do on his own. Now that I've got the Moja as well, I can literally send him out to quotes and he can just go and measure up, and he can literally do a quote in 5 minutes. So the more he can do, the more I want to pay him in line with his skill level. And the quicker we can get there, you know, the quicker I'm happy to let him sort of do it on his own. He's already been out with me on like probably 6 or 7 jobs now, and he seems to be really enjoying it, and he's really good. He listens. He's very sort of malleable and moldable. He's just like a blank canvas, and he's a grafter, and he's very strong, and you know, everything I need. Good as ever. Cheers. We'll listen through the week. Nice one. Soft washing Cornwall. Thanks for watching. Hit the thumbs up, guys. Jake's info is priceless, especially when you get started out. Thanks, mate. Cheers, Glenn. Yeah, if anyone could like the stream, that would be very useful. Right, I'm going to go. See you in a bit. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye. I'm just going to take a short break to talk about Moja, who have kindly sponsored this video. As some of you guys already know, I like to quote all of my jobs based on a price per square metre for each different surface type. In the beginning, when I was pricing up driveways and patios, I used to just take a tape measure with me. Not only do I think that looks a little bit unprofessional, but I also think it falls apart when you want to measure any kind of curved area without being some sort of maths genius. Then I gradually switched over to Google Earth, but I found myself constantly questioning the accuracy in the measurements. And also, most of the time, the images were too shadowy or blurry to get a decent view of the area. One of my landscaping friends recommended the Moja One to me because he said it's way more accurate than any of those other methods, and it was speeding up the time it was taking him to put these quotes together. The Moja One literally measures down to the millimetre, and you can quickly plot out any shaped driveway, patio, steps, curves, walls. I've not come across one thing that it hasn't tackled yet. It's been a few weeks since Moja sent this out to me, but in that time it's completely transformed my quoting workflow. You can save multiple measurements to specific project folders, and I've been emailing the PDFs from my phone directly to the customer. You guys know I only work with suppliers who I think are going to benefit my audience, and I couldn't think of a better product to streamline the quoting process. It's so simple to use. If you'd like to try the Moja One, head to moja.co.uk and use my code X8SMELTS to get £20 off your order. Link in the description. 71 square meters.
That's mad.
Sick, innit? It's so accurate, and you can like see it in 3D space as well.
So good.
Look at that. So you can see the fall off. So say if you've got like a driveway that's sloping in, you're not sure when the water's going to flow.
No way. So it's picked up the steps. It's picked up that little bit. Man, that is sick.